cancer fundraisers are just another way the Thorns stand together with the Portland community. So stop by and show your support today. The auction will end at the start of the second half. The U.S. men's national team is coming to Geldwin Field this July as part of the 2013 CONCACAF Gold Cup. The doubleheader group stage matches on July 9th features the United States, Belize, Costa Rica, and Cuba. Tickets will allow entry into both matches. They start at $25. Get yours now at the Geldwin Field box office or PortlandTimbers.com. Providence Elder Services is proud to be the presenting partner of the Portland Thorns. On this first ever home game, Providence supports the athletes and fans making history today in Portland.
Welcome back to the Thorns FC pregame show. Hey, live coverage of Thorns FC is presented by McDonald's. All you Pilot fans out there from the Bluff, you know what Christine Sinclair meant to your club over the years. Well, she's Canada's finest and will also be one of the premier players on this Thorns club. My broadcast partner, Angela Harrison, caught up with Christine Sinclair just a few days ago. Check it out.
Think good week back in Portland so far?
Yeah,
So you've been traveling a lot
Okay, we're in the interview.
in Portland for the foreseeable future. How is that to be kind of settled back into routine in your town now?
Yeah, it's nice actually to unpack and move into a place. It's been a lot of traveling. For a long time, I didn't know what time zone I was in, but I think more importantly, it's nice to just finally be back around the team for a substantial amount of time.
So the last few years you've been playing professionally. You've been in the Bay Area. You've been in New York. So as you said, you've been more or less a nomad. So what's it like to be representing the city of Portland and being in Oregon again?
Well, no, I mean, when this league was formed, this was the only place I wanted to play. It's home for me, and I know the fans here are absolutely crazy. And the history with the Timbers, it's an organization I wanted to be a part of.
Organization.
Just can't wait to finally play in front of these fans again.
Do you think being in Portland and having kind of being settled in your own house and not knowing that you're not going to have to travel across 18 different time zones on a regular basis, do you think that that's going to bode well for your comfort level in terms of your production this year?
I don't know about production, but
Yeah, go ahead.
no, it's just in terms of life. It's nice to finally be settled and to be in one place and to know that I'm going to be.
I tried normalizing it. It didn't really help it too much, but I've got the pot completely up.
Absolutely. Don't tell our nutritionist that though, but yeah.
What other restaurants are you introducing your teammates to?
Well, it's funny, the first time we went out, we had a bite to eat at Cal's, which was,
A bite to eat?
Yeah, a bite to eat at Cal's. You like how I said that?
Mm-hmm.
We went for Indian the other night to the Bombay Cricket Club.
Love it.
Good call.
Yeah, absolutely delicious. And we've sort of decided that it's going to be a weekly thing that one person.
Just about a minute left in the interview.
Thank you,
one
Tim.
Team, dinner, lunch, breakfast,
Thanks for
whatever,
keeping me
at
posted.
a different place.
Not a problem.
Yeah,
Finally, lots of fans, lots of family coming down on Sunday.
just a couple.
Got the old the uncles that played here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Big run.
Angela, good job. Sink, living large. All right, keep it right here on Freedom 970 AM, home of the Portland Thorns. Our pregame show continues right after this short break. Welcome back to the Portland Thorns pregame show. It's a beautiful sight here at Jeld-Wen Field. Folks filing in for the 2 p.m. start of a match that we've all been looking forward to for so long. Ann Schatz along with Angela Harrison, the NWSL home debut of the Portland Thorns. The Seattle Reign coming into town.
Sure.
And you haven't quit smiling since we went on the air. Well, heck, since we got here this morning.
Since we got here. I mean, who wouldn't love this environment? The field's perfect, and the stadium is just going to be packed, and you can't help but feel excited for these players, and I'm really excited to watch the Reign play and see what Laura Harvey has put into place for them, and even the adjustments they've made since last week. I mean, it's going to be a great time, and I think that the players are going to have a tremendous amount of energy and a tremendous amount of attitude. Not like they're going to go out and slug each other, but just a great attitude just coming into the game. Just the honor of playing in something like this is tremendous.
You mentioned the Reign and head coach Laura Harvey having to do without their three main allocated players. Hope Solo, wrist injury. Rodriguez, pregnant. Rapinoe, her commitments in France.
Yeah.
So what will we see from Seattle today?
Well, it'll be interesting. They did, make a preseason trade. Keelan Winters, who was an allocated player, actually ended up trading to Seattle, to give them some of that boost, some of that leverage. But, you're going to have some great Canadian players. Emily Zur, Kaylin Kyle are two very, very good players for Canada. Teresa Noyola from the Mexican national team is a player that I've watched play for Stanford. And, when I saw her play for Stanford against UP, I said back then, that kid is going to be bossing the midfield of a national team someday soon. And I hope it's the U.S.'s, but, it's Mexico's. And she's a tremendous player, and can pull some serious strings for that midfield and getting the ball up to Liz Bogus and Christine Nairn.
All right, let's switch gears to our Thorns. I mean, we were at training sessions a lot this week. How are you seeing this team come together?
Well, it's been good, and we've talked to Cindy, we've talked to some of the players. This is the first week. There's been a lot of stability to what they're doing in terms of, the players aren't looking. You don't have Morgan and Sinclair and Bueller and LeBlanc looking to leave at the end of the week, or they're going to catch a flight. They've been here all week. They're settled in, and now they're getting into a rhythm, and they're getting into a training session. So into a rhythm of training. So now there's going to be a lot of expectation. Is that now there is no reason for them not to gel. They're not leaving. They're here for the next month and a half or so, and they've got to pull it together. So I think the big adjustment that I see them making is Sinclair dropping into the midfield.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
To get the ball a bit more. Yeah.
She's that good with the ball at her feet and setting her players up, correct?
Tremendous final passer of the ball. I mean, you look at her, she scored 110, I think, career goals for UP. She is finished the career leader in goals up at UP, which is pretty tremendous when you consider that she played behind Milbrit and McMillan. But she's tremendous with assists as well. I mean, she's one of the all-time leaders in points, and she's a great final passer of the ball, and she can set players up, and then off the ball, after she sets those players up, you watch her runs off the ball, puts herself right in a position to get the ball back or be there for any cleanup, and she does a great job with that.
How about the speed and the creativity of an Alex Morgan, who we know so well from her heroics with the U.S. women's national team?
You look for her to stretch the field a little bit more, and she's gonna play off a defender's shoulder, pull him out wide a little bit, and then look to make that run into space. And it is Sinclair. It is going to be Angie Kerr. Now you're looking for Allie Long and Nikki Washington to kind of fill in those gaps as well. But it is those players that are going to look to be playing the ball. I mean, Alex, you want to play the ball under her feet at times, but her strength is when she can pull off a defender's shoulder, create some separation, and then play that ball in behind the defender for her to run onto. She goes at people with a tremendous amount of confidence and can finish very well with either foot.
Sinclair's Canadian teammate, Karina LeBlanc, will be starting between the pipes for the Portland Thorns. I thought she looked much better in the second half last week than the first half, and looks like she's hitting her stride coming into camp a little late.
A little more comfortable, a little more confident, and something that I've heard some of the media talk to Karina about throughout the preseason is that this team is she's the starter. It's Karina LeBlanc, Addie Gay's the backup, and now she's not kind of in a battle with McLeod to see who's going to start, or in the earlier stages of her career when she was in Boston and backing up Tracy Noonan. I mean, this is her defense to Marshall. This is hers to take care of, and so I think that you're going to see a lot more confidence from her. She's already a very confident and very very social person, with her the KK cams that she does for the Canadian national team. But I think, having this to call her own, and this is what she has, you're going to see her really kind of take charge of this, and it's going to be on her to set this defense up and take care of things.
Thanks, Ange. Appreciate that. And, hey, you got to stick around. We've got one final pregame segment. We want to share that with you in just a few minutes.
Happy birthday, Gretchen and Patty.
Welcome back to the Portland Thorns pregame show. Happy to have with us head coach Cindy Parlow-Cone. Okay, you've been in Portland for a few months now. Your impressions of the city and this crazy fan base that will carry you guys today and beyond.
This city is awesome. Portland is Soccer City, USA. From the moment I got here in January, there's just the reception I have.
And we were in.
And then even more so once the players got in, it's just been unbelievable. And then I walked out to the field right before the game, and the whole fans, they're all setting things up to celebrate during the game. And I just think it's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere today.
You've played on the biggest stage, and now you're coaching professionally. You understand the energy of crowds and feeding off of that. Can your team draw from this kind of energy today?
I'm planning on the fans, the people in the crowd, to be our 12th man on the field. I mean, I've seen it with the Timbers, and it really makes a difference. And I'm looking forward to seeing the Portland Thorns fans get behind us and cheer us on and be the 12th man on the field for us.
Good week of training as your club continues to find its rhythm and its cadence. What might we expect to see from the Thorns today that we didn't see in that draw against Kansas City last week as the rain come to town?
Now that we've had a full week of practice with all our players in, I think you'll see a much more organized, both in the attack and on defense, and a little bit more possession. I think we struggled to find a rhythm in the first game against Kansas City, but not to discredit Kansas City, because a lot of it was what they did. I mean, they were a fantastic side, but we've got to go to our strengths, and that's possession-oriented soccer and high pressing defensively.
Much is made of your attacking forwards, obviously, with the great Christine Sinclair and Alex Morgan. Gosh, may we see them unleashed today, perhaps a little bit more?
I hope so. I hope everyone unleashes today. You know, they're fantastic forwards, and I think they'd be the first to tell you that they weren't satisfied with their performance in Kansas City. I think just as a team, it wasn't a good performance for us all around the park. But I think today, since we've had the week of training, I think it'll be much better.
You poo-poo the notion of everyone around the country saying the Thorns are the team to beat. They're loaded. They're obviously the cream of the crop. You know you've got a great team, but you don't stress and pin your hat on any of that kind of stuff, do you?
The thing is, and what people don't realize, we may have some of the bigger named players, but every player in this league is fantastic. When you only have 8 teams in the league, the talent isn't spread very thin. Every team is very good and very talented.
Okay, here you are, head coach of the Portland Thorns. This is your head coaching debut here in Portland. I can't help but ask if there's the good kind of nerves going on moments before kickoff.
I'm just excited. I'm excited to see the atmosphere, to feel the atmosphere, and just to be a part of this history. We're looking to have the biggest crowd in women's professional soccer history here today. So I'm so proud to be able to be a part of that, and so honored.
The league will be paying attention to what happens here today. Obviously, a couple of failed leagues going into this time. What becomes critical as far as making this third go-around one that sticks?
I think first and foremost that both the U.S. Soccer Federation, along with the Mexican and the Canadian Federation, have chipped in and are paying for their national team players, which helps the financial stability of the league. But then after that, it has to be, every team has to be strong, and I think we've seen that in the first week of games, and then the game yesterday ended in a tie as well with D.C. and Western New York.
Coach, thank you so much for the time, and good luck today.
Thank you very much.
You betcha. Okay, that's Cindy Parlow-Cone, head coach of the Portland Thorns, and that'll do it for our pregame show. Back with opening lineups and kickoff in just a second.
As crazy as life gets, it's nice not to worry about your health insurance. Providence Health Plan provides health coverage for individuals, families, and employer groups. At Providence Health Plan, it's not just health care, it's how we care.
We always heard about apple a day keeps the doctor away, so I guess I should never see the doctor as many apples as I eat in a day. We got just the right soil, the right elevation, the rainfall that we get here. That makes for a great crisp apple, good colored apple. That's what we're striving for right there. You can get high quality apples just like we grow in every Happy Meal.
And now, let's meet the starting 11 for the Seattle Reign FC. In goal, number 18, Michelle Bedos. On defense, number 2, Emily Zero. Number 3, Lauren Barnes. Number 4, Kate Dinas. Number 7, Ellie Reed. At midfield, number 6, Kaylin Kyle. Number 8, Teresa Doyle. Number 10, Jess Fishlock. Number 11, Keelan Winters. Number 19, Christine Darren. At forward, number 5, Liz Bogus. Available substitutes for the Reign FC. Haley Koffmeyer. Jenny Ruiz.
Welcome back to the Portland Thorns pregame show. We're minutes away from
team.
It's great to finally be with the Thorns.
Oh.
I think just coming into the stadium,
This is the opening billboard right here.
wrecking.
Sorry. Some of the world's premier.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Good. I'm just really excited to play.
Morgan now. Morgan strikes one right into the top corner. What an absolute beauty from Alex Morgan. She flies with her own wings.
But they're all settling in nicely, and I like what I see on the field.
Welcome to the inaugural season of the Portland Thorns FC. This is the Rose City, and these players are the Thorns. Live game coverage of Thorns FC is presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Also by Providence Sports Care Center, providing orthopedic and rehab services. By Nike Soccer, and by Park Lane Mattresses. Now,
Coming up to you here in 3.
with Angela Harrison, here's Ann Schatz on Freedom 970.
Welcome back to our pregame show, minutes away from the start of today's Thorns Seattle Reign NWSL matchup. A quick thought, Angela, what becomes crucial for the Thorns with a quick start?
Well, just to settle down. I mean, even Sinclair, Morgan, Bueller, Kyle Zur, even Keelan Winters, a lot of these players have played in front of massive crowds, but nothing like a Portland crowd. There's that nervousness of, trying to impress and do a great job for the home fans and all the people that have turned out here today. So it's just who can settle quickly. And for Portland, it's going to be key for Becky Edwards to make sure that as kind of the holding center midfielder for Portland, she settles things down and then can play into Sinclair, and Kerr gets involved and Morgan gets involved and Allie Long do a great job on the outsides to make sure, they're keeping things locked down for Portland. And again, just you get out there before the whistle blows, deep breath, and then play your game.
Deep breath is right, because there will be thousands today here at Geldwin Field. The Rose City Riveters ready to let Seattle have it. Hey, should mention that the league is conducting a moment of silence before the national anthem this weekend and today, of course, to honor those who were injured and lost their lives in Boston this past week. And we'll be back with our opening kickoff right after this.
In the Boston Marathon, please join us in a moment of silence as we send our thoughts and prayers towards those affected by this tragedy. Thank you. And now, please remain standing as we honor our country with the singing of the Star Spangled Banner, performed today by Portland Thorns FC defender Jasmine Yvonne.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Wow.
Tremendous.
I don't have much to say, Angela Harrison. I mean, Jasmine Avant, Portland Thorns' own Jasmine Avant, singing the national anthem, and look what we have going here.
Great tifo out of the north end by the Rose City Riveters. A nice little sea of red and white. Hopefully that's being caught, and some two-stick displays welcoming each one of the players. You can see it on your screen now if you just joined us in on the stream. Welcome Kat, welcome Sink. I mean, it's just great, and literally bombs bursting in air. It's pretty awesome.
Thousands and thousands of folks streaming into Geldwin Field as promised. I mean, this is an overflow crowd, and this is very, very special. Hey, let's talk about the opening lineups for both clubs now while we have a second. And
sure.
The Visiting Rain will feature that 4-4-2 formation. Emily Zur, Lauren Barnes, Kate Dynas, and former Portland great Ellie Reed will anchor the Seattle back line. Kaylin Kyle, Teresa Noyola, you mentioned how dangerous she is. Jessica Fishlock, and another pilot stand-up, Keelan Winters, will be your Rain mids. Christine Nair, Liz Bogus will be Seattle's attackers. Seattle coached by Laura Harvey.
And you look, Keelan Winters is actually captaining the Rain here today, so that's a tremendous thing for a young player to do that. But the player to watch, I mentioned Noyola. The player to watch is Fishlock. Jessica Fishlock out of Wales. The Wales International, quite the player, very tremendous on the ball. You'll see her, you'll recognize her by the shock of blonde hair. Similar to Megan Rapinoe, but there you go.
Free agent signee for Seattle. All right, Portland will counter with the starting lineup that looks like this, another 4-4-2 formation, and basically the same lineup as last week in their season opener. Nikki Marshall, Rachel Bueller, Kat Williams, Marion Doherty, the starting defenders, and very, very tough on that back line with LeBlanc between the pipes. The Thorns mids, Allie Long, Angie Kerr, former Portland pilot. You know, and you look at a Nikki Washington, and you think to yourself, you know, this is a team of mids pretty darn good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of capability with all these players and the interchangeability. And you'll look at, you know, I think that what Cindy Cohn will look for from the midfield is also a little bit of defensive involvement. Nikki Marshall and Marion Doherty coming out of the outside back positions and getting around and combining with Washington and Long and you know, and having some degree of interchangeability. I mean, I think Sinclair will start deeper and Kerr will start up a little bit higher, but I think that, you know, the expectation is that there will be a lot of switching of positions and a lot of fluidity to what the Thorns are trying to do.
Becky Edwards starting in the midfield attack for Portland as well, and keep your eye on you-know-who. Yep, Sinclair and Morgan, the dynamic duo up top in that attacking forward spot. Christine Sinclair, Alex Morgan. Sinclair, obviously, that star for the Portland Pilots back in the day and Canada's finest, leading her country to that bronze medal at the 2012 Olympics. And Alex Morgan, late game heroics Alex, a starter for the U.S. women's national team, the gold medal winner at London, I should say. And the Thorns are coached by Cindy Parlow-Cohn. So we are seconds away from opening kickoff. The Thorns wearing their home kits of red jerseys, black breeches. Seattle,
Sox,
and Seattle coming into town with their white jerseys and
Navy shorts.
Navy
blue
shorts.
socks.
Yep.
So here we go. Kickoff in Portland.
Kickoff in Portland. Historic kickoff. The professional debut of the Portland Thorns here in the National Women's Soccer League. Throw in as this match is just underway. Michelle Betos will be starting at keeper for this Seattle club. Was terrific in the second half last week as the rain tied Chicago 1-1.
And really not bad from Sink there, just to kind of put it up over the top and just see what they can do. Put Seattle up under pressure earlier than they did last week with Kansas City and get Morgan, run a couple runs into the game.
It'll be interesting as that ball headed out of bounds. Throw in Pilots. I've got the Portland Pilots on my mind. Throw in Thorns. It'll be interesting to see who wins the midfield and those 50-50 balls that we know are so important, Ange.
Absolutely, and just looking to see have Portland establish just a little bit more of a rhythm in terms of winning the ball and then doing something with it out of possession rather than just kind of poking it into space or poking it to the general direction of another teammate. Do something constructive with it, and that's, as you mentioned earlier, what can Portland do early on to get into it, and you see they've done just that a little bit here, and we get an early corner for the Thorns.
Yeah, Washington able to turn the corner and get the corner kick established, and she will take that, the first of the game. Here's Nikki Washington with the corner.
Low streaking ball. Cleared out by the rain.
Kerr looking to throw in. Still on that right side to Washington. She's got space. Centering past, nobody there.
Washington across the box, and Morgan and Sinclair were sucked into the near side, and Allie Long had come in just probably a little bit too far and not gone out onto that back post looking for that extra ball.
Reed carried, but her pass was headed away. Still Seattle controls. Nicely done by Seattle to control, but nope, there's the swipe by Kerr, and she goes deep. Look
Fantastic
out.
ball.
Morgan just getting her feet tripped up a bit as Betos came way off her line to make that save. And here comes Seattle on the counter.
Here's Fishlock dribbling through the red.
She's got the speed. Tripped up, and they say play on. Here comes the counter of Portland. Fishlock showed some nimble footwork there, but got tripped up, and the Seattle offense wasn't able to keep that ball in their offensive third.
And good move there from Buehler. Buehler had an opportunity for a fast break, but then kind of put the brakes on, played it to Williamson. Williamson plays it back to LeBlanc, and Portland looks to kind of set and just be a little bit more organized from there.
Doherty with the intercept here, and she will carry to the right flank for Washington. Wants to cut it back, but a nice sliding tackle by Barnes. Still a Thorns throw-in. Nice aggressive play by Washington. Doherty throws it in. Kerr not able to control it, and Seattle will bring it the other way. We're still scoreless here at Geldwin Field. Just minutes into this match between the Portland Thorns and Seattle Reign. Thousands on hand here at Geldwin Field for the home debut of the Portland Thorns in the NWSL. Doherty finds Kerr, one touch. On the right side of the field, Morgan shoved, and Kerr's able to keep things balanced.
Well played from Edwards there just to get a toe on it and get it away from Noyola.
So on the left side now, Portland will work the field, sending a long ball to space, and that'll dribble out of bounds.
And already a very good partnership forming for Seattle in the form of the center backs Dynas and Emily Zurr, and so they're going to clean up things a lot. It's Barnes playing at the right, Dynas and Zurr in the middle, and I believe it's Ellie Reed is going to be on the far side.
Keep your eye on Christine Nair, number 19 for Seattle. She had that goal in Seattle's season opener against Chicago early in that first half. Seattle maintaining possession at midfield, one touching as Portland's defenders try to collapse, and Long knocks it out of bounds. Throw in Seattle. Quickly, the restart for Seattle. Good defense at midfield by Portland. Sinclair will carry. Stepping in is Barnes to knock it free. The crowd thought something was cooking there.
Good
Nice
job
ball.
from Seattle defense to just kind of close in and around Sinclair there. And again, you saw Barnes and, Dynas and Zura step in there, and Keelan Winters come in to actually triple down around her. And Kayleen Kyle was there in the area as well.
Ball through and switching fields nicely, and here comes Washington on the right side. She's got room and real estate to play with. Defenders giving chase, that's Winters. Washington wants to turn the corner. Wow, Winters just hip checks Washington, who looks for a foul. Crowd didn't like it, Ange.
Goal kick, but I thought it was, as you see the replay on the video screen up top, I thought it was a decent challenge. And that can go either way. I mean, it just depends on the referee's view on the day, and the linesman was right down there, so I will neither confirm nor deny the allegations of a foul there.
Well, maybe this is a sign that the good physical play is going to be allowed, and play on is the mantra so far. Nice header won by Kerr there. Wants to turn the corner. Stepping in nicely, Seattle's defense. Fishlock sends it to the right side, and Reed will carry on that right flank. Portland's defense there. Nicely done by Marshall. Was a bit injured last week, didn't train a whole lot this week, but fit enough, obviously, for today's start. LeBlanc will clear. And again, Seattle trying to get something going in their offensive third. Misplayed by Portland. There's Washington. That's got to be called. And it is, as she is taken down.
Way.
Whoa.
It'll go the other way.
You're kidding me. So Noyola and Washington get tangled, and it'll be a quick restart for Seattle. Crowd didn't like that either. So one of Seattle's best chances up to this point in this scoreless match, Ange.
Well, you look as Washington held up there, and as she kind of held up, and she went straight-legged and stuck her back out and looked to trip up Noyola, and then Noyola pushed her. So it's a kind of a tale of two fouls there, and you want to call the referee has to kind of, in fairness, call the first one, and he may have been calling that, or he could have been calling the fact that Washington came down and put her hand on the ball. So
one hopper.
But as it is, easy peasy lemon squeezy for LeBlanc.
Whatever that means. All right, so Fishlock hovering over the ball, but it's Nairn who takes the blast at LeBlanc, but the one hop was easily gobbled up by Karina. So we're still scoreless.
I mean, Nairn can strike from that distance, and you look for her to be a threat from there. I mean, she played midfield at Penn State as we see Sinclair come in.
I like that idea as Betos
cleans it up, but
yeah.
You see Sink get a lick in there on Canadian teammate Zur.
You're right.
Letting her know it's not going to be an easy day for her.
The crowd, you can hear and feel them rise, their voices, and rise to their feet literally when Morgan or Sinclair are even close to the ball in the offensive third.
Great pressure in there, and again, this is already so much better than we saw last week against Kansas City for the Thorns.
Nice job by Marshall.
The defensive pressure is much better. It's much more organized, and they're actually looking to do some positive things, and I think that's going to be Cohn's game plan is she's high pressure all over the field, and then win it and do something positive with the possession. Don't just kind of whack it around and hope for the best. Do something positive with the possession. If you're going to keep the ball, do something good with it.
So Seattle will try and get something going off that restart, but again, Portland's defense, to Angie's point, is playing really good defense. They're getting numbers up too. Washington been very, very involved. Sinclair will drop it for Washington, who corrals it on the near sideline. 1v1, wants to turn that left corner. Great idea. Almost a scoring opportunity for Morgan in the box, but again, Seattle's defense is equal to the task. Nairn will send it. Physical match so far. Here's Fishlock again. We've called her name. A terrific player for the Wales national team. Nicely done by Ellie Long on the intercept. Morgan gives it up. Seattle with the attacking mode with Kyle. Foul will go against Long, and it looks like a yellow has been...
First yellow there for Long there, first of the game there for against Long, and we'll maybe see the replay here, but You know, the game does have a tendency in this kind of atmosphere. It is going to start out chippy. Players are playing pretty hard. They want to establish rhythm, and I can certainly guarantee you that Cindy Cohn has challenged her players to be more physical and set a more defensive presence and tone in this game than they did last week, and you can see that right out of the gates in this game.
Similar situation now. Fishlock is standing over the ball. Let's see if she takes it this time.
This one will probably get played into the back post. A little bit of angle on it, not a shot. There you go.
Great call. Great call. Dangerous and cleared.
Well played by Sink, and there's Christine Sinclair, who's your offensive player, clearing a ball off her own team's end line there.
Bogus wanted to turn the corner on this near sideline. Ball off long. And Canada showing some life offensively. And here comes the ever-present Fishlock with Seattle's first corner kick of the game. Chanting crowd anticipating Fishlock's corner kick. Far post, and dangerous. Headed out. Long tries to chase it down. There's Noyola. Play on.
That'll be another foul.
A late whistle as Noyola crumples to the ground. Long, very physical today. Looked like she clipped her. I like the call.
It is. It's a good call, and you hate to see that stuff go against. But Long now, again, has a yellow card. Has to be very careful with the challenges that she's making. And again, you see it right there on the replay. Noyola going, and Long just clips her up from behind, and that a referee has to call that.
So far, it's been Seattle putting the pressure on offensively. 12th minute of this match. It's scoreless. The Thorns and rain.
Great ball.
Punched away by LeBlanc.
Well done from LeBlanc to come and get it, but the referee had spotted a little bit of a mishmash of commotion inside the area, and we'll definitely give the foul there to LeBlanc, who has definitely given herself a Thorns dye job since we saw her at training.
Yeah, looking good with the red hair.
Loving the hair.
Well, I like the fact that LeBlanc aggressively comes off her line. She doesn't wait for any kind of whistle to be blown. She just goes and punches that thing away.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do. That ball flighted that high into the 6-yard box. I mean, if it's more driven, you have to be a little bit more cautious on your ability to fight through the bodies to get there. But a ball that high, absolutely, you give yourself a little time and you come late and drive right through it with your fist.
Bogus wants to leave it for Winters and does, as Seattle trying to get that ball into their offensive third. No luck, though. Good D by the Thorns defense, and here comes Washington. Centering pass. Kerr couldn't get ahead on it. Seattle averts danger for now. Headed out of bounds.
13 minutes into the match here now. We're entering the 14th minute of play here at Geldwin, and it's kind of time for the jitters to start dying down. I mean, it's been a pretty aggressive match so far from both sides, but Portland definitely needs to get Sinclair and Morgan some more touches on the ball, and that's got to be worked through Kerr, and that's also the responsibility, as I said earlier, of a Becky Edwards, of a Nikki Washington, to find them with the ball a bit more.
Speaking of Edwards, she's fouled near midfield by Nairn. So the Thorns will try and get something going. Limping a bit is Edwards. Deep ball inside the penalty area. Kyle fouled.
It's Long again.
Yeah, boy, she's just been all over the place, and Seattle Reign folks are dropping like bowling ball pins. Still scoreless. Angela Harrison and shots bringing you Portland Thorns soccer. We're just tickled to be here at Geldwin. It's a beautiful sight here. Thousands of fans showing up to show this league what Portland soccer is all about.
Just as an FYI for those of you kind of watching and listening, I mean, we don't really have the Rose City Riveters mic'd or anything. We have our broadcast booth open windows, and so the sound is carrying up here into the booth, and it's projecting through our microphone. So we're not really trying to drown out what we're doing, but it's great to hear that kind of support here in Portland.
Seattle with a quick throw in. Nairn says, wait a second, I guess not. And it'll be a Thorns throw in. Kerr. Boy, Winters has just been terrific. But Sinclair is there. Nimble.
Here we go.
Yep. Here comes the Portland
Portland's
Thorns.
got a
Sinclair
4-on-3.
wants it. Sinclair wants it. And will get it. And a shot on goal!
Sinclair wants a deflection.
Yes.
She wants the corner there, and the referee will give it, rightly so.
Sinclair shows the speed to get into the penalty area, and Betos knew she was coming, and that ball deflected. Thorns corner.
Great break there for the Thorns, and it was a 4-on-3 chasing the play, and well done for Sinclair. And from that angle, she's putting it across the area, and she's not really trying to shoot, but she is trying to get it close to the goal so that it's a deflection, it goes in or it goes to Morgan.
Line drive corner. Sinclair with the header, just didn't have enough on it.
That was a great ball from Kerr across the area. Portland's got to do better to get into the area and get somebody on top of that.
Long goes down and slow to get up. As Portland will try and get the momentum and keep the momentum after that wonderful ball into Sinclair, who had a notion. Morgan, haven't called her name much. Wanted to switch fields, but Long couldn't catch up, and Seattle controls, and here comes Kyle again. Leaves it for Reed, who will work the far side.
Morgan now with the pickoff at the top of the penalty box.
She wants to leave it for Kerr, just a little bit too much, the timing just off. I thought maybe Alex would try to cut that back in the penalty area and see if she could get the right foot on it.
Good right to play to Kerr there. I mean, I think that's again, I've been watching the Thorns train the last couple of weeks, and you see that a lot of what they do is look for the end line to drive back, because those are so difficult to defend.
Bourne. Nice ball into Bogus.
Good run from Bogus.
Kat Williamson there to deflect, but still Winters has control. Nairn will have a notion on the left side.
Fishlock.
All kinds of commotion right in front of LeBlanc in that
really
penalty
good,
area.
Clever touch from Clip Fishlock there to play it out wide to Nairn, and just right back across the box, and the Thorns did a very good job of trying to stay organized and stay in front of the ball there, but well played by both sides.
The Portland Thorns defense has been tested so far in the 18th minute of this scoreless match. But you mentioned the fact that the Thorns defense, it was good that second half last week against Kansas City, but much better so far this week.
Sure. And, just right there, that's real quick to kind of go away from the defense. Just talk about the midfield. That ball came in off the goal kick, and here again, you have another one. You got to keep the ball away from where Keelan Winters is, because she's going to win it. I mean, right now, Portland doesn't have, if she's not next to Allie Long, Portland doesn't have anybody that can stick next to her, and it looks like Sinclair's going to go match up with her now, so that might be a little bit more of a better and even matchup. But before, when it was Edwards, or before when it was Kerr, Winters is going to win that every single time, so they have to do a better job of keeping the ball away from her on those 50-50s.
You mentioned the 50-50s, and on that little tete-a-tete, it was Seattle coming away with it. Terrific job defensively by the Thorns to take it away. That's Doherty playing the good D, and you thought for a second that Seattle had a notion to really push that ball with numbers forward, but Doherty steps in front, creates the turnover. Portland's ball. Bueller. Hand up, and we'll crack it. Morgan trying to get ahead on it. Winters is everywhere at this point. Nicely done by Edwards for the steal. Sinclair leaves it on the left side. There's Long. Morgan inside the penalty box. Nice defense by Seattle.
And geez, what a great battle there between Sinclair and her Canadian teammate Kyle, just giving each other everything they have going in on those 50-50 battles, and Kyle's definitely breathing a little easier coming up on the top end of both of those duels with Sinclair.
Thorns with the throw-in. Seattle tries to take control, but Washington, who's been very aggressive, knocks it out. It'll still be a Seattle throw-in. In the 20th minute of this scoreless match here at Geldwin. Bueller collects at midfield for Portland. And Sinclair switches field nicely, but Marshall can't catch up. Good defense by Seattle. On the far side, little toe touch there. As Zur is being hounded by Kerr. And Betos just kicks it out of bounds.
So I mean, I'm getting a couple questions in on my Twitter feed. I put out the call for questions pregame, and a couple questions. One is what the midfield needs to do to get things together for themselves, and then the next one is, what to do to get Morgan more involved, and both things are kind of synonymous with each other. Portland's midfield, the top three, Edwards holds, and the Portland midfield tends to play the next three players playing kind of a line across the top, Long, Sinclair, and Washington. There needs to be a little bit more depth involved with what they're doing, and just a little bit more cohesion, because when you play in a straight line, you have to have somebody provide you with a little bit of depth, and that's where actually you need the help from Doherty and you need the help from Marshall to come up and give that support to Washington, give that support to Long on the far side, because you already have Sinclair dropped back in the middle, to try and clean these things up, and if they can do that, then I think you're going to see Morgan get the ball a bit more. But right now, I think that straight line is a good way to play, but you need to have some depth to play off, because you can only get the ball if you're Nikki Washington or Ali Wong and dribble forward 30 yards for so long. You need to have support in a couple different areas, and that's where you need to have Sinclair drop off or Kerr come over, or just a little bit more from the outside backs to get involved and be a part of the attack.
Winters with the long ball inside, headed away by the Portland Thorns. But still Seattle controls in their offensive third. Nairn, far side. Winters.
Fishlock with the great ball in, and that's...
Boy.
That was Bogus there. That was trying to get on the end of that.
Bogus had got a head on it, but just didn't have the angle or the pace. We've watched Fishlock and Winters just be all over the field for Seattle.
And you've seen Noyola's actually just switched just recently over to the left side, and Bogus has come more central, and I think it's Nairn has pushed more wide to the right as Seattle plays kind of a little bit more of a 4-3-3 with the two holding, one attacking, and Fishlock, and then Bogus now is the high target forward with Noyola and Nairn running up the outside. So
as both clubs continue to adjust and adapt, it'll be a throw-in for Nikki Marshall and the Thorns on the far side. Morgan can't corral it, but another throw-in all the same. Are they going to call a corner? Yep, a corner kick for the Thorns.
Like it,
yeah. So Kerr will take this corner kick. I believe it's the Thorns' third corner of this first half. We're in the 24th minute now, scoreless. Seattle and Portland, the home debut for the Portland Thorns in the National Women's Soccer League.
Kerr and Washington on the ball there. We'll play it short.
Line drive effort. Boy, Edwards almost got a head on that.
And Morgan was right there as well, and that's great play from Betos to come out and break it up, and does the best she can to break it up. And as we see Doherty slip up and give the ball away to Noyola, now this is pretty dangerous with Fishlock and Nairn running through the middle out here.
Off the counter.
Bogus, excuse me.
You're good. Off the counter, and LeBlanc will just clear it. And Seattle will control Noyola. You've been mentioning her. Nice triangle there and combination for Seattle as they send the ball down the near side. Bogus. Back up to Noyola. She's got a foot. Winters switches field. Seattle trying to get something set up. Here's Ellie Reed. Sends it deep. And there's the nice grab by LeBlanc.
And this is what Winters is so great at, is the ball comes back around. It's been deep in the Portland corner. Noyola finds Winters in the middle of the field, and Winters in two touches bangs it out wide and switches the play quickly. And Portland's doing a lot of good small passes in possession, but this is what they need right here is Angie Kerr just being a little bit more on target with that, but switching the play better. When you do that, when you can switch the play quickly, you're going to unlock the defense a bit quicker because heads will turn as that long pass go. Heads will turn, gaps will open up, and Morgan will find a little bit more space to run into, which is what you want.
Kerr trying to find some gap in space for Washington on that long pass, but just led her a little bit too long, and Seattle will come the other way. Betos in charge. in the pipes for Seattle. Again, the combination and one-touch passing on this near side for Seattle, and they will call that ball out of bounds. And Nairn was thinking, oh, just for a couple of inches, I had a clear field down this near flank.
Good stuff. We're about 25 minutes in here at Jeld-Wen, and if you've kind of just tuned in, we've got Portland wearing their red kits, their red home kits, black shorts, black socks, going left to right across your radio dial, so to speak, and Seattle wearing white, navy white, going right to left. And it's been a pretty good chippy affair so far, and it's a lot of fun to watch as we see Fishlock come over and get some tending to with winners here.
An aggressive game.
Sideline. Betos, looks like Betos has actually been down on the field. Something might have happened on that corner that she came through. She was down, and looks like she got a bloody nose. They just came out and were fixing that. Obviously, the play was down in the Reign offensive end of the field, so kind of missed her being down on the field. But looks like they've patched her up, and she's ready to go.
Betos, who starred at Georgia, and obviously Hope Solo was going to be the starting keeper for this Seattle club, but wrist surgery has put Betos in the middle of a white-hot spotlight.
Yeah, and she's done a great time. I mean, she was a 3-time All-American at Georgia. I mean, she's got some experience. She's played in Cyprus, and she played in the WPSL Elite last summer and was with the Atlanta Silverbacks. I mean, she's definitely has the experience, and it's just a matter of having that confidence to step up. I mean, goalkeeping primarily is a position, once you're in that role, is a position of confidence.
Morgan trying to get ahead on it. Trying to flag it down now is Edwards. Nice one touch there as she's going to the ground, and Doherty will get things started. Miss hit by Washington.
That's got to be better from Washington, and she knows it. She's got to do a little bit better with that one and make sure that she can build something positive out of the Thorns attack there. That was just too easy of a giveaway.
Morgan leaves it for Kerr on the right side. Washington has been roaming freely on the near side. The Thorns' right side, trying to turn the corner. Poke checked away by Barnes.
And that right there, I mean, it's not on. I mean, Washington has the speed. She can get around, but she's got two players in front of her, and one of them's Keelan Winters. I mean, at that point, just put your foot on the ball, play it back to Kerr, or play it back to Doherty, and switch and go out the other way. If it's not on, you can't sit there and try and force it. Otherwise, you're just going to give the ball away.
Smart play by Sinclair as the Thorns are rewarded with another corner kick. And we'll see if Washington can get this ball into an area where the Thorns can do something with it. Corner from Washington. Low line drive. Oh! Diving stop by Betos. What an effort by Edwards there on the header. A beautiful service by Washington, and Betos had to really splay out. Edwards had a terrific angle on that corner. The crowd really thinking that was going to be the first one. On the far sideline, down goes Long.
Long will ask for the card there. Same as kind of similar of how she got that, and Reed just tripped her up, and that's fair.
All right, a yellow for Long, a yellow for Reed. Ask and ye shall receive, Ange. In the 30th minute of this scoreless first half. Portland hosting Seattle. Sinclair with the long service isn't able to control it. Seattle on the counter will head the other way. Not so fast. There's a drag down right there. Nothing called as Portland controls, gives it up. Winners. Fishlock, middle of the field, nifty ball handling there. And here on this near flank is Barnes. Seattle controlling, doing a great job of finding teammates. Portland knocks that one out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in for Seattle. Nice defense by the Thorns to take that away. Morgan leaving it for Long. And on the far side, Marshall will carry. Crowd in anticipation. Marshall, marked by Bogus, drops it back. And the Thorns will regroup with that back line getting things started. Doherty, chippy to Washington, and that ball, English, is out of bounds. Seattle with the throw in. Looks like Kyle with the honors. Nope, that's Barnes for Seattle. Waiting for the okay, and here we go. Morgan with the intercept, leaves it for Doherty. Edwards avoids the tackle. And Bueller will get things started from Portland's back line. Turnover, Thorns. Fishlock, who seems to be everywhere, pauses, leaves it for Kyle. 1v1 against Sinclair. Good D by Christine. Midfield and Seattle retreating. Barnes will try and get things collected and started again for the Reign. Nairn at midfield. Again, Sinclair seems to be all over the field defensively. And here she is again with the pick. Kerr, nifty feed, but the nice intercept by Seattle.
Hey, that was not a bad idea from Kerr there. Just needed to maybe keep that one on the ground and just pull it back a little bit more toward Morgan.
Washington, as the Thorns are able to defensively swipe yet another attempt by Seattle, and Washington will leave it on the near side for Doherty. Beautiful service inside! One hopper from Morgan is corralled by Betos.
And well done for Morgan there, just to get up over the top of Ellie Reed and head that down. That was probably the best she could have done with that one, given that Reed was right in front of her. She couldn't get really any kind of snap out of what she was doing.
Betos has been tested. LeBlanc on occasion as well, who gobbles up that ball. Another yellow card given to the Seattle Reign. I believe Nairn is the infractor on that one.
Yeah,
yes.
Definitely kind of cut down Williamson there.
Williamson, the first-round draft pick of Cindy Parlow-Cone. Starred at the University of Florida, did Kat Williamson. Recovering nicely from a meniscus tear in 2012.
As we see the replay, and Nairn just gets the chop down of Williamson there.
That's a good call. Easy call.
Very easy.
Still scoreless in the 34th minute. Portland hosting Seattle.
Zurr not giving Morgan any kind of room to breathe there.
You got to tip your cap to Seattle's defenders. That back line has been very, very tough. Portland's back line very tough as well, and they'll collect and get things restarted in their defensive third. Far sideline.
Just really light rain starting to kind of fall here.
Again, Portland's defenders knocking it about in their defensive third, trying to get something going midfield. Washington harassed. Near sideline, that's Doherty who leaves it for Washington. Can she carry? Cuts back nicely. And gives it up. Washington gets it right back. Again, near sideline. And Noyola is all over her. She'll send it right back to LeBlanc, who will get things started. Coming out of the defense for Portland. Long leaves it. Bueller, far sideline. One touch from Morgan, right to the Seattle defense. The Reign working the far sideline. Ball knocked out, should be a Reign throw-in. It is. Scoreless here at Geldwin. Fantastic crowd on hand. We expected a really good crowd, and this Portland soccer community did not disappoint. The league will hear about the attendance of this game. Believe you me.
Well, Cheryl Bailey, the commissioner of the NWSL, is here in attendance, as is Tom Sermani, U.S. Women's National Team coach, as is I think Julie Foudy will be in the booth next to us here shortly with Mia Hamm doing some interviews for ESPNW. So, definitely people here taking notice, and people around the country taking notice of women's soccer today.
Nice job by Doherty to keep that ball alive on the intercept. And
just want to see Edwards go the other way there. Find Bueller. Bueller goes to long, and you're out the other side.
Barnes with the throw-in. Got to mention quickly that we've got a great guest coming up in our booth at halftime, huh? Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do. Sorry,
You're good. You're good. Deep ball. Alex Morgan. We'll fill you in a second. Morgan, 1v1. Morgan trying to collect. Turns the corner. Nimble footwork. Oh, wow. My goodness. What a kick save by a defender as Betos was on the ground. And at the last second.
That's Dynas. That's Kate Dynas, the center back for Seattle there. What a great clearance off the line there for Seattle. And it was Morgan 1v3 plus the goalkeeper there. So
right.
For her to even do the footwork that she had to get the shot off there was pretty tremendous. And there you see the replay. Dynas just saving the goal there for the Reign.
It had far post written all over it, and Dynas is able to get a boot on it to save the day. Betos had been out of position on the dive. No way she was going to catch up with that on the angle, but Dynas is there on that far post. Wow. Morgan denied, but was that fun to watch?
Great build up there, and again, that was Morgan 1v3, and just to get a little bit more help into the area, has to do a little bit more support work from the Thorns team to help support the play and keep possession in those situations. As we see another foul go against the Thorns.
And against Long. Kyle gets up as if to say, gosh, get off me. But this is one of those games where both clubs will bring it, and I mean bring it defensively to try and set the tone. So far, so good. Both teams' back lines very, very good. Boot inside the penalty area. Knocked away, but Seattle will control. Bogus wanting to turn the corner. Avoids the tackle by Sinclair. Sends it back. There's Barnes. Nice pass inside. Noyola. That's good defense by Portland.
Good touch there from Kerr.
Kerr everywhere there.
Great ball.
Allie Long wants to carry. On the counter, here comes Portland. Morgan, far side. Both teams getting established and collected as Long will send it back. Nice defense by the Thorns on this near sideline. Here's Doherty. Washington. Combination play back to Doherty. Kerr leaves it for Washington. Nice job by Washington this time as Sinclair is able to get it back to Kerr. Maintains possession. There's Seattle's defense. Barnes. Nice takeaway by the Thorns. Those 50-50 balls in the air, so important. Boy, I thought Williamson got away with something, and here comes Portland. Looked like a little bit of takedown, but play on. Kerr, outside the penalty area, will switch fields. Long on that far sideline with the streaking, overlapping Marshall on her left. Wide shot.
And this is a lot better from Portland these last few minutes, and it's all come down to switching the point of attack. It's got to come back around, and when you are in one side of the area or one area of the field for so long, you create an overload of players. So there's going to be an open player with open space. You just have to hit that player in one or two passes to open up the opportunity.
Laura Harvey out of that Seattle Reign bench area. She nor Cindy Parlow-Cohn have sat down this entire match. Angela Harris, Ange, we haven't either. Betos very aggressive coming off her line to just not even give any kind of a look on that last play. Here comes Fishlock. Leaves it far side. Ellie Reed will carry. Marked by Marshall. Nairn, beautiful pass. Inside look, header. Just goes wide.
Just wide for Bogus, and again, just a great job for her to run, get in across the area, and Portland has to make sure they're managing that just a little bit better. Get somebody there, not make it quite as easy. Obviously, she glanced it wide, but that was maybe just a bit too easy for her to get to.
A heck of a service there. Boy, and you're right. Had an idea on that header. A little wide right, but she had room to maneuver. Again at Seattle, trying to get something going. Fishlock. Struck it from 30, 40 yards out, off a Portland Thorns defender, and a long ball on the counter.
Great look there, and wow.
Morgan showed the foot speed, but Seattle's able to come up with it. Boy, at the last second, Dynas was able to keep Morgan.
Very well done, and that's not easy to do, and that's great composure from the 23-year-old who's just played for the Sounders women last summer, and after graduating from UW after a very, very highly decorated career there for the Huskies.
Foul on the far side will favor the Thorns. The foot speed and the burst of speed by Alex Morgan, well documented.
Yeah, she's not slow.
Pretty quick.
All right, 4 minutes to go until halftime, and as Ann mentioned, a very special guest joining us at halftime as we watch the play here is a lot of special people in attendance here tonight in the U.S. soccer community, but none more special to Portland and none more near and dear to the hearts of Portland than University of Portland graduate and U.S. Women's National Team legend Tiffany Milbrit. So she'll be joining us at halftime, coming up in a couple minutes.
Kyle leaves it far side. Far post. Portland's defense does a nice job, but Nairn is able to collect it on this near side and will send it deep. Hitter. Nothing there pace-wise from Kyle. Both teams getting opportunities, Angela. Both teams testing the rival keepers. But we're still scoreless in the 43rd minute. Portland hosting Seattle. Alex Morgan almost breaking the scoreless tie with a terrific effort minutes ago, only to have it booted away by Dynas on that far post after Betos had gone flying and was in no way, shape, or form ready to make the save. Instead, Dynas saves the day. We're still scoreless. Kerr at midfield will leave it for Bueller, and she's got room to move. One touch back and forth, Bueller and Long. Portland gives it up. Right side, Seattle with the counter.
Edwards there through Kyle. Just, again, a very tough job defending, and Portland's done a pretty good job of closing down some of the Seattle opportunities, but it's these ones that go out wide here that Portland has really struggled to defend.
Both teams with scoring opportunities. Both teams' defenses have been pretty darn solid as Sinclair tries to win that ball. Sink wanted the foul.
Got the handball.
Yep.
And again, this is a pretty dangerous position if you can set it up right. And you know, when I watched these guys play up at the University of Portland a couple weeks ago, you know, it was Doherty that was on these, and she was putting him in over the penalty spot into the back post. And so, you know, you really have a good opportunity here. It's not a direct shot on goal. It's something that's going to go in and volley or a header for sure.
Kerr leaves it for Washington. You can hear the whistles from here.
Morgan.
Right near the...
call a foul before the play, or...
That's a great question. As she's still on the ground is Alex Morgan.
That whistle blew right as the kick was being taken, so you wonder if she was fouled in the area. That's... I'm not going to speculate that that's a penalty kick, or he's just going to let them retake the kick from out here. Okay.
It looks like the retake and the reset and the restart is seconds away. This time, Kerr again letting it go for Washington. Low line drive.
What a
my
goal
goodness,
from
are you
Doherty!
kidding? Doherty flicks the header as everybody was screened, including Betos. 1-0 Portland.
That's all you needed to do is get a piece of it. The ball goes into the box, and it wasn't going to be a direct shot. As I said, header or volley, and Doherty hits that ball without even really shooting. She just wants to get it in frame near the goal. Somebody else gets a piece of it, and luckily enough people were screened. Portland up 1-0 at home.
A great ball from Washington. You wanted numbers forward, Ange, and here comes Doherty.
Wow. Nothing doing for Betos there. That's one is you can't really anticipate or do anything about that as a goalkeeper, and that's full credit to the tremendous ball put in by Nikki Washington. No swerve or spin on that thing. That one thing was a line drive, and Marion Doherty, the Santa Clara alum, does a great job to get ahead on it, and it goes far post. Well played to the Thorns.
Just a beautiful ball from Washington, who's been working her fanny off on this near side. Deep ball into LeBlanc. Comes off her line. Crowd responds. 1-0. The Portland Thorns and Marion Doherty. She's got that World Cup experience, 11 caps with the U.S. national team. Just moments before halftime, Marion Doherty, with numbers forward from the back line for Portland, flicks that header past Michelle Betos, and the Portland Thorns lead it 1-0. And we are at halftime in front of 13, 14, 15,000 here at Geldwin, who are up on their feet. Portland leading it 1-0 at half. Back in just a few minutes, Tiffany Milbrit, Angela Harrison, we got you covered on the Portland Thorns Radio Network.
Let's talk about
Introducing McDonald's new Premium McWrap. Gorgeous fresh vegetables and juicy, delicious chicken wrapped up in a warm tortilla. One bite is like no bite you've ever tasted before. The new Premium McWrap. In 3 mind-blowing flavors. It's a whole new way to love McDonald's.
As crazy as life gets, it's nice not to worry about your health insurance. Providence Health Plan provides health coverage for individuals, families, and employer groups. At Providence Health Plan, it's not just health care, it's how we care.
Portland with a goal in the final minutes of this first half. Marion Doherty with the header gives Portland the 1-0 lead over Seattle in a well-played first half, Angela Harrison.
Yeah, that's a nice boost going into halftime for the Thorns. Obviously, it was kind of a hard fought. Things were chippy. Players were working through a lot of the adrenaline and energy of this tremendous crowd here that we've seen. And, you know, Seattle had a lot to offer and a lot to put up against this Portland team in the first half. And, you know, Portland was very resilient, had to be organized. You know, we didn't see a lot of great organization out of Portland last week, but it was better this week. And, you know, I think the possession was just a little bit better. And, you know, to get to get a goal off a set piece like that was just a tremendous goal, and I'm sure a great boost to the team going into halftime.
The composure of Portland's back line, I thought, really dictated a lot of the tempo and pace, and getting numbers forward really told the tale.
Yeah, I mean, they gave up a couple of nervy fouls just kind of in the first opening minutes, and the card by Long, and then a couple chippy fouls from her, as the half went on, and they did better to minimize and reduce the times that they put themselves in the pressure situations by having just a little bit more organization to what they were doing, and that's where you get a veteran like Karina LeBlanc who can settle the back line down, kind of get them to breathe a little bit more and get them in the right positions so they don't give up fouls in silly spots.
We were just anticipating the explosion of an Alex Morgan or a Christine Sinclair, and I thought that those two forwards were very active for the Portland Thorns with some pretty good chances.
Very active, and I think Sink had the ball as much as she wanted to have the ball, but I think Morgan still wants it a bit more. She had a couple of opportunities, a couple of chances, but she wants more. That's a person for Portland and for this team. She's a flag bearer. That's a kid that needs to have the ball at her feet and needs to have as many opportunities as we can. And take nothing away from Angie Kerr or Nikki Washington or even Marion Doherty, who scored a great goal. You have to get Morgan a bit more confidence and give her a little bit more touches on the ball.
How much do you think the Thorns coaching staff will really key in on the activity of a Jessica Fishlock or a Keelan Winters in terms of how they have been possessing and setting things up offensively for Seattle?
I think that's going to be key for going forward is how Becky Edwards, the holding midfielder for Portland, can mitigate, the time and opportunities on the ball Fishlock has had. It's not necessarily getting Fishlock the ball. The thing that she's good at is dropping deeper into her own midfield to get the ball, and that's where Washington or Long or even a Sinclair has to look to deny that pass. But as she comes forward, Becky Edwards has to do the best job she can of minimizing the damage, and even when Fishlock doesn't have the ball, getting in front of her and denying service, because she's going to be the one that it goes through. Obviously, Nairn, Bogus, and Noel are very, very dangerous, but Fishlock is going to be the key for them to open it up in the second half for Seattle.
So a very entertaining first half as the Thorns gets this Geldwin crowd to its feet with that Marion Doherty goal late in the first half. Portland leading the Reign 1-0. When we come back from this break, we're going to bring Tiffany Milbritt into the studio, put the headset on, our buddy, and see what she's been up to lately. So stick around. We'll be back in just a second.
All right, fans, check out the video board to see what Thorns FC followers are tweeting regarding today's match.
What a first half this has been at Geldwin Field. Portland leading The Seattle Reign 1-0 thanks to a late first half goal by defender Marion Doherty, giving the Thorns the 1-0 lead. And shots along with Angela Harrison and Tiffany Milbrett, former Portland Pilot. Great. Millie, good to see you again. What have you been up to?
Well, I am a head coach now, so I'm
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, passing on the magic to the young generation here.
How great is it to come into Geldwin and experience thousands of just pro Portland soccer fans?
Very emotional. I mean, I think the thing is I've always, born and raised here and always knew how special this place was. And, I would have given everything for this thing to kick off about 10 years ago here. But Cindy actually did ask if I wanted to play, and I kind of laughed. I said, I'll play when you play. And she's like, no, I'm done. I'm like, me too.
Tiff, I was there in 2002 when Portland won the national championship for Clive, and I heard him say, in front of everybody, this wouldn't have happened without Tiffany Milbrett and her decision to come to Portland, and so I kind of look back on all that. You coming to Portland leads to a lot of other things, including a Christine Sinclair coming to Portland, which wins the national title in the 05, and then enough support behind women's soccer now to have a team like this and have 16,000 people in a stadium supporting women's soccer. I know how humble you are, but do you look at that? You were kind of the first domino to fall and really set this up. So you kind of look out over the stadium right now and go, holy man, I really did have a lot to do with this.
Well, I mean, I can't help but think of Clive every day. I mean, I think whether it's I'm in Portland or whether I'm being a coach, I'm channeling him through everything that I do. And when I lay my head, down to sleep at night, just be thankful that I was able to be, just formed by that man. And yeah, I can't help it that this is a direct result, and everything that he's done in this. I remember watching him as a Portland Timber. Man, that afro.
Yeah, absolutely. What a guy.
Yeah, and then being touched by him like coaching me was phenomenal.
So as Ann said, she asked what you up, and you coach down in the Bay Area for MVLA, and you've got your U12 Tornadoes, which are just tearing up the NorCal Premier League. When you think back about all the things that you've learned over your soccer career, and I know that probably the most important and some of the better things have come from Clive Charles. What is it about him, or what is the message that you've gotten from him that you try to impart to these young girls that are U12, and you've coached them for the last 3 years? As far as what do you instill in them that you got from him?
First of all, we don't have time to talk about the many things, but I think
Sure.
the number one thing is just the environment that he created. He didn't treat us like girls. We're not girls. We're athletes. We're soccer players, and we can play just as hard. And he didn't care. He was probably in a long line of coaches that I had in the Pacific Northwest that didn't care that we were girls. We were soccer players.
And what a message that was. I mean, back in the day from day one.
I know. And it's just, I'm so hard on my players in a good way because you're soccer players. This is what it takes to be an athlete. And
Sure.
That's the biggest thing. But then along with that, the immense freedom to just be yourself, to be a dangerous, no boring soccer player. And those are the two things that I really, think about the most from him.
You just described yourself, Tiffany Milbrett, a boring
and
free
short.
free to
My
play.
players aren't short, however. They're taller than me.
That's not saying much. Tiffany Milbrett, thank you so much for taking the time. It's great to have you home, my friend.
It's great to be here.
Thanks a lot, Tiff.
Tiffany Milbrett, obviously a star at the University of Portland, and then on the international stage with the U.S. Women's National Team, World Cup, and Olympic star. Great to have her in the press box with you, and really loving this score right now. The Thorns leading the Reign 1-0. Halftime continues in just a second. Welcome back, Angela Harrison, along with Ann Schatz. Happy to bring this game to you. Portland hosting Seattle in the home debut in the NWSL for the Thorns, and thanks to a nifty header by Marion Doherty, Thorns leading it 1-0 at half.
Yeah, it's been pretty entertaining. I mean, there's been a lot in this game between both sides. I mean, it's definitely never a dull moment at Jeld-Wen Field, and so I mean, I'm looking for this game to open up even more now that the teams have kind of played 45 minutes. They're kind of breathless. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't remember. I don't know the word I'm looking for. But, they've kind of had time to settle down and had the adrenaline. There you go. The adrenaline of having the crowd and the kickoff is kind of drained out of them. So now, you're looking for them to kind of settle down and open up this game even more. And I'm expecting a lot from the Seattle Reign team to keep going at the Portland Thorns defense, find the vulnerabilities. And, I'm looking to see what the Portland midfield does, how they respond in terms of, getting the touches on the ball that they need to get the ball into Morgan so that she can find some success, and even Sinclair.
Angela, as an All-American keeper for the University of Portland, 96 through 99, let's break down LeBlanc real quickly. How did you like her play that first half?
Strong and confident. I mean, I think, it was really important for her, the communication and, where she sat in the first half. She's right in front of the Rose City Riveters, and that's pretty loud. She's got to be loud, and I've talked to her after games before, and she's hoarse, and but that's the expectation, and she loves it. She thrives on it, and really good job coming off her line and directing. I mean, she didn't really have many dangerous situations to defend. I mean, she had a couple shots come right at her, but again, sometimes it's the simple ones that you tend to let in.
Boy, and you wonder, to your point with the Riveters right behind her in that first half, it would be awfully tough to get your voice over that crowd that has not stopped chanting.
And this is what's going to be dangerous for Seattle with Portland attacking the north end in this second half is not having the general audibility that you normally would that they did in the first half.
So the Thorns will get things started on the near side with Marshall. Sending it back, that's Bueller. Switching to the middle of the field for Kat Williamson to the far side. Doherty.
And it looks like no changes for either team, so we're coming back out the way we came off.
Betos was tested, especially late in that first half. Alex Morgan nearly had a nifty goal as she went 1v3 and blasted a far post shot that Betos wasn't able to save, but at the last second, defender Dinas stepped in and booted it away, but then minutes later, there was Doherty, putting Portland on the board. An unlikely goal scorer for the Portland Thorns.
Absolutely, but these players need to get more involved, and that might be just a little confidence boost that Doherty needs to continue to go forward offensively and not just sit back and watch the play as it unfolds.
I love the play of Fishlock from Wales, all 5-2 of her winning that battle, but here comes Portland. Long in the penalty area. Long in the penalty area, able to be cleared by Seattle. Noyola now wants to carry. She'll leave it. Cutting back nicely and sending the ball on this near side. Reed collects. Nice defense that time by Edwards, who steps in front. And Winters will flag it down and start again. Or will she? Look at Long. And in a tumble, it's Long and Winters. They've been going at it all game long. Foul on Long, who shows her displeasure, wearing her emotion on her sleeve. Actually, foul against Seattle. My bad.
She just was upset that there wasn't a card or any kind of other further disciplinary. But, that's started the second half. Not going to see any color out of the ref's pocket this early, I don't think.
Sinclair leaves it up top for Washington. A blast! Punched away.
Well done by Betos, and the referee's going to signal that out for a corner. The
You
linesman
bet.
on the far side, and great shot there, lined up from Washington perfectly at the top of the D, and took a little deflection there. Betos had to recover nicely in order to get a hand on that, but just stepped out of bounds.
You mentioned the great passing of Sinclair. There was a terrific
Look at
example
that ball
there.
set up just perfectly, and
here comes a corner kick. Kerr with the honors. Crowd wants more. Line drive. Far post. Ooh, Betos.
Betos, well done. Not easy over Alex Morgan. Alex Morgan's got her by a couple inches, but she's got the hands advantage, and and still that's a tough one to come down with when you got a player right on top of you right that, because you want to bring that ball down as badly as you can, but you kind of maybe have to leave it hanging up there.
I sure like
until you clear the area.
Sure like where Kerr left that pass, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Throw in Seattle. They're playing catch up. 1-0. Portland with the lead. We're early in the second half. A goal late in that first half by Doherty. Header that got past Betos as she was screened gives Portland the 1-0 lead. Williamson steps in front of that pass, and here comes Washington on the far side. Finds Morgan in the middle of the field to Kerr. She'll skip it across to Long, and Long may have a shot. Leaves it instead for Kerr. Winds up.
Oh.
Defense for Seattle. But Kerr's able to corral the possession. Instead, it's Bogus.
And Portland's setting up nicely here in this second half. Morgan's gotten a few more touches already than she did in the first half. Just in these first 3 or 4 minutes of the game, she's been involved, and she's definitely been a threat, been dangerous. And, maybe, like I said, the North End's involved in that. Pretty difficult to hear yourself organize your team defensively in this environment.
Sinclair leaves it for Morgan. Nice tackle there by the Seattle defense. Portland tries to maintain possession and does. Marshall on the near side. Leaves it for Long. Nicely done by Marshall to cut inside, but equal to the task is Noyola.
And
Throw in.
Marshall already involved more in this half than you called her name more than you did in the first half. And again, this is important for the Portland midfield to unlock the Seattle defense. And I use that term a lot, unlock, because the way the defense sets up, you have to work the ball around, and your outside backs are going to be critical to helping your midfield do that.
Reed will find a wide open Kyle. And working the near side is Nairn, and she'll switch it nicely. Overloading was Seattle, and now on the left side. There's Noyola, very crafty. Nice touch work and organization by Seattle's defense. Williamson, off her, it'll be a throw-in for the Reign. '51st minute of this very entertaining match. Portland leading it 1-0. Doherty with the header late in that first half. Poke checked away by Doherty. Clearly, Portland's coaching staff made some adjustments at half.
Yeah, I think it's, not only adjustment, but like I said, Fishlock goes down under pressure.
In the box. Penalty area, I should say.
Always an iffy call, but, I think it is a matter of settling down and understanding. You've got the first 45 minutes behind you. You got 45 more minutes to open this game up for yourself and have a bit more confidence in what you do, because a goal, like I said, a goal just before halftime gives a team a ton of confidence coming out, and it's really up to them now to take control of this game even more.
Seattle wanted to go up top to the streaking Fishlock, but Portland's back line equal to the task. And going up top, the Thorns not able to collect, but then there's a beautiful ball. Sinclair, Morgan, one weave on.
There you go.
There it is. Sinclair and Alex Morgan.
Have
goal.
Some of that sunshine. Great setup.
In front of the Riveters, and everybody here at Geldwin, Angela, is going nuts. And Sinclair wins that ball defensively, and then the assist.
Just a slip up. You see the slip up here on the replay. Well, I think they're showing some graphics right now, but you're going to see the slip up defensively on the replay. That Zur gives the ball up, and Sinclair just slides it through. And classy finish from Morgan there.
Keeping the head up is Sinclair, and Betos had no chance. The left-footed Morgan.
Sinclair, one of the best passers of the ball in the game, and right on the money. Perfect pace, perfect distance, and that's going to be easy for Morgan every time.
And Angela, all right, I'm going to put you back in the keeper role.
Sure.
Your team just gives you a second goal. How good are you feeling right now if you're LeBlanc between the pipes?
You're feeling good, but again, it's kind of as a goalkeeper, what I was always taught, you never get too high, you never get too low. Your team goes up a goal, goes up 3 goals. You don't get too high, you go down a goal. You don't get too low. You have to have the even keel and keep your defense, because it's one of those things where if you kind of stop paying attention to organizing and stop paying attention for that one little second, that's when a space opens up and all of a sudden you're 1v1 having to deal with something that you didn't want. So you always have to kind of keep that even keel and be organized.
Portland up 2-0 and smelling some blood. Fishlock.
Great tackle there from Bueller.
I'll say, because Fishlock really had some space.
Absolutely.
In the penalty area.
Off a terrific feed from Winters. Winters spent some time in the German the Frau Bundesliga.
Oh my!
Last summer, and it's a very strong league, and it's a place where you can really learn a lot about yourself as a player, and as a young player, as young as Keelan is, tremendous place to kind of build your chops, or however you want to put that.
No,
build
that
your
works
experience.
for me. That works for me. Nicely done by Williamson to just send it back to LeBlanc, as the harassing Seattle defense gave her really little choice. And we are now in the 54th minute. Tons of time. And if I'm Portland, I am putting the pedal to the metal here and the gas on. You don't get conservative here, do you?
No, and this is where, again, the goal before halftime, a great confidence builder, settled Portland down. They were able to take a breath at halftime and said, yeah, okay, we can do this. And then they came out and pressed and scored a great goal, in the first 10 minutes of the second half.
Nairn knocked down by Ali Long. We have called Long's name over and over in that department.
So it looks like Dahlstrom is getting set to come on here. She's going to come on for Noyola, which is a kind of an outside for outside position. Dahlstrom traditionally defender, Noyola midfielder, but Noyola's been playing kind of that wide up top set spot. So now Dahlstrom will come in and again give them some width and some pace on the outside.
Dahlstrom, experience with the U20 national team,
Sure.
and also in the WPS with the Breakers of Boston.
Well, it's worth noting that with that U20 national team that she was on, there's 8 players here in the sides tonight that were on that U20 FIFA Women's World Cup winning U.S. squad. Reed, Winters, Nairn, and Dahlstrom from Seattle, and then from Portland you have Alex Morgan, Nikki Marshall, Nikki Washington, and Becky Edwards, and all those kids were starters except for Dahlstrom, and so it's a lot of talent out here for a team that won that under-20 World Cup in 2008 in Chile.
Tons of talent as Nairn lets that ball go through her legs. Out of trouble there. Nicely done as Portland's defense, and Washington sends it deep. Morgan wants to collect and catch up. She does. Inside the penalty area. Cuts it back.
There's Sinclair streaking through.
Waiting for players.
And
puts it on the far post.
And that's okay. Sinclair was making her run straight up through the middle, and that would have been a good pass. However, Morgan's looking at what she has in front of her. Could she afford to wait? Because Keelan Winters was also coming back, and there was just a little bit more organization. So why not just take a chance with a shot?
Betos had to come off her line to cut down on the angle. And again, with that strong left foot was Alex Morgan. Sinclair streaking down the middle of the field to Angela's point. But Morgan decided to give it a crack, and here comes Seattle. Misplayed there. Portland's defense is able to get it to midfield to Sinclair. Far side, Washington sends it into space. Nobody there midfield. Here comes Seattle. Near side, Long playing the great defense, trying to cut back is Reed, and she gives it up. Throw in. Thorns already leading 2-0. 57th minute of this terrific match. The Thorns hosting Seattle. Home debut in the NWSL.
Good read from Sinclair there to step in front of Winters, and
look at her speed. Sinclair trying to find somebody in that penalty area, but it's all Seattle jerseys there.
It looks like Morgan and Sinclair have been dropping a little bit more into the midfield. You see Washington up high now with Kerr, and Morgan now kind of next to Sinclair. It's almost, now as Washington tracks back. We've talked to Cindy about the fluidity and changing of positions, and what a run from Morgan there just to get around.
Morgan knocked down. Nothing called. What a terrific ball. I believe it was from Washington to Morgan.
That's
Crowd
a good
going
battle.
nuts.
That's a good battle from Zurr there.
Boy, I mean, right by the penalty kick area. Inside the arc, actually, more appropriately, and Morgan went down, no call. What'd you think?
We'll see the run here on the replay. Zurr just gets in front. You see your arm come up around Morgan, but you have to look at that from the referee's view in the run of play as how the referees saw that. Zurr came around, got the ball. She had the advantage there to win the ball there, so it's just a bit unlucky there for Alex Morgan that Zurr was able to nip in front.
What a great run by Morgan, though, and slotted nicely was Washington, who has been very active this entire game. Kerr knocks it out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Seattle. I think they wanted a quicker restart, but instead it'll be Reed getting the throw-in as Fishlock jockeys for position. Instead, it's good defense by the Thorns. Sinclair, ball knocked away. Seattle keeping the ball in their offensive third. There's Washington, who heads it away out of danger. Seattle will collect. Portland's defense getting settled. Nice ball to the left side. Seattle having a little action with Kyle. Ball goes out of bounds, though. Thorns throw in. '60th minute of this match. The Thorns leading it 2-0. First half goal by Megan Doherty. Second half goal. Marion, thank you. Marion Doherty. Second half goal by the great Morgan Sinclair. The assist on that first goal, Washington. Assist on the second goal goes to Sinclair.
Sure.
The clock obviously in Portland's favor.
And the opportunities, the amount of opportunities that Portland's created for themselves in the second half, shows through the stats. Right now they're out shooting Seattle 10-3 for the game, but I would say a fair amount of those opportunities have come just here in the second half.
Quick reminder, folks, your local Northwest McDonald's is getting fresh with you. The new premium McWrap, fresh spring mix, tomatoes, cucumbers, grilled or crispy chicken, all topped with cheese and wrapped in a warm flour tortilla. It's more freshness to love at participating McDonald's. Seattle needs to get on the board, need to get something going. Turning the corner there nicely is Bogus. Doherty hounding her on the far sideline. Washington will win that battle. She's tripped up.
And Kyle just went to ground there, just trying to, she'd been beat and just trying to do whatever she can to poke the ball away. And, you kind of maybe call that what we call a professional foul. Just stop the attack, make sure there's not a quick counter.
I would have done the same thing.
Why not?
Smart play. All the same, the Thorns will see if they can get something going. Long boot, Sinclair. Header favoring Portland. Near sideline, here comes Long. She'll leave it to Marshall. Trying to find that corner. Again, back to Long, intercepted by Nair. Long gets it back inside the penalty area. The blast! Just wide. We have seen some activity inside that 18.
That's well done from Long there. I mean, just trying to keep the play going. For her on that one, though, she's looking to shoot all the way. I'd try to put it on the ground, maybe get a deflection or look to see something coming in at the far post. But, she's got a heck of a shot, and the goal that she scored up at UP a couple weeks ago when they played the Pilots.
You were there.
Was just a cannon.
Morgan leaves it for Marshall. Nicely done. Inside the 18. The centering pass! Just nicked away at the last second by Kyle, and then...
Were it not for Kyle, that ball would have been in the back of the net on the foot of Sinclair.
Sinclair read it perfectly. Kyle with the great defense, and Betos was there to gobble it up. Portland keeping the pressure on, Angela.
Tremendous ball from Marshall, and again, Kyle just gets in front, and Betos comes and clean it up. Otherwise, that ball was going straight for the net on the boot of Sinclair.
Nice idea on the centering pass by Seattle there, but Nairn wasn't able to catch up right in front of LeBlanc. Harmless there. What a second half for this Portland Thorns club.
It is, and I think this is the millionth time I've said it since the half started almost 20 minutes ago. It's amazing what a goal just before halftime will give you your confidence, especially when you're jittery. It's your second game in a brand new league. You're playing in front of 17,000 people, I think, now, and it's just to settle you down, and it gives you boatloads of confidence to come out and play your game in the second half.
Nairn intercepts, and Winners will switch fields. There's Barnes on the far side, and Seattle will reverse that overload, kicked out of bounds by Williamson. Portland's defense looks to settle as Seattle will get the throw in. 64th minute, 2-0. Portland leading. Thousands and thousands of Portland Thorns soccer fans here at Geldwin. Kind of a cloudy, chilly day with a little bit of rain, but that doesn't matter to these folks. Smart, savvy, and game fans.
Absolutely.
Washington on the far side, very active, is going to leave it for Kerr. She wants to carry. Switches fields. Let's see if Marshall can catch up. Nope. And here comes Nairn on the counter. Long. Cuts her off on that near sideline. Towards the middle. Winners. Hounded. Stays with it. Play on, says the ref. Long will send it to Sinclair. Tries to get a toe on it. Instead, a little bit out of her reach, and Kyle will get things settled for Seattle. Bueller heads it. Fishlock there. Just keeps battling. What a terrific battle with her and Nikki Washington. Foul whistled against Washington, and I'll tell you, Fishlock gave her an earful.
Not happy there, but that's the game. It's kind of gone back and forth all game between the two teams, and it's a battle. And
well, it's been a physical game from the
Absolutely.
opening kickoff.
Just kind of sorry, I was watching the replay there.
You're
and
good. You're good.
Listening to the fans call Fishlock a diver, I think, is what I'm hearing. But it's been a back and forth physical battle all game, and it's if you're gonna give it, you gotta be able to get it back, and that's just part and parcel of playing a physical brand of soccer. You got to give as good as you get.
Sinclair clears it out of trouble. Morgan is going to flag this one down. Doesn't have a lot of numbers to play with, but she's got the near sideline in her favor. Is able to kick that ball away from the defender and still control. Morgan will wait. Long wants to turn the corner. Sends it back to Morgan, near sideline. Will she go to the corner? Looks for some help. Long. Getting organized is Marshall on this near sideline towards midfield. Here's Long again. Stepping out of trouble and leaving it for... That's Kat Williamson. Let's see if they switch fields. Edwards. Yes, she does. Kerr. Back up to Doherty. That pass too far, but Edwards is there to keep things going in the offensive third. A weak effort there, easily cleared by Seattle in the 18.
On that last run out from Morgan here on the near sideline to us, I mean, once she gets going at pace, there's not a lot of people that in the world that can keep up with her, but it was Ellie Reed for Seattle that was able to track through and get in front of her and get her down, as we see the next Seattle sub, which is Larson coming on for Bogus.
Yep, Christina Larson, the midfielder who starred at UCLA, will come in. WPS experience. Throw in. Far side. Thorns. Knocked out of bounds by Kyle. She's been very active as well. Kyle, Fishlock, Winners all over the place. Morgan trying to get out of trouble. Washington sidesteps trouble herself. Dangerously bouncing around in that 18. Seattle better clear it. Finally, the rain does exactly that. Portland able to control. The defense has been terrific. Back line playing so well. Not only pitching a shutout so far, but getting a goal from Doherty. Washington sends it inside. Boy, she was trying to slot that through for Morgan, who was making a break. Instead, Seattle's defense will get things going the other way. Long ball.
That's a great run.
Dahlstream almost flagged it down, and it was a terrific pass and effort by Fishlock. But again, Portland's defense, Ange, has been very, very tough.
And again, you can see LeBlanc if you're looking at live at the stadium. She's back there. She's settling things down. She's telling them it's going to be okay. LeBlanc has always been a keeper traditionally that has played pretty high off her line, and as we see Washington get a probably a deserved yellow card there for the whack on Fishlock.
Well, she and Fishlock have been going at it. Nikki Washington and Fishlock have been going at it all game long, and the Wales national captain goes down in a heap, and the yellow goes against Washington.
And Fishlock is absolutely not short on confidence, and so she will call that. She will call for that foul, every time, and she's not afraid to go into somebody and go at somebody for. Yeah.
Seattle needing a goal. Nice deep ball from Nairn. Dangerous ball. Punched away by LeBlanc at the last second.
Yeah, so as I was just saying, LeBlanc is traditionally has played a little bit higher off her line, and it looks like she was just out there, didn't really see the kick coming. I think she was looking, organizing, and then all of a sudden the kick came, so she just caught a little bit high up, but did what she needed to do with it, which was put it out wide because she knew she wasn't going to be able to catch it.
Fishlock with the corner. Deep ball that Sinclair is able to clear. Crowd appreciates that. It'll be Seattle's ball. 2-0, Portland leading Seattle in the 69th minute of a terrific match here at Geldwin. The home debut of the Portland Thorns in the NWSL. Leaving it back and getting it out of trouble. Seattle will keep it in its home half. Dynas will find Fishlock on that far side. Carries the ball, taking on the Portland defense. Fishlock carrying. Nicely done by Cat.
Good step there from Williamson. A lot of confidence there to step up and win that ball off the foot of Fishlock. As we see Morgan get fouled there.
Zurr with the hard tackle, but the whistle will go against the Seattle Reign defender. And Morgan very slow to get up. That's just a hard sliding tackle, and yeah, Morgan, you could tell gingerly getting to her feet. Portland trying to add to their 2-0 lead, Angela. They have put the heat on Betos and company.
Kerr, an excellent server of the ball. She could put this on the money pretty much, and she's going to pick her spot right here. I'm betting it's going to be Kerr and not Washington who takes this.
Good call. Here comes Kerr. Little chip shot looking for the header.
Was right there looking for Doherty again on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Seattle's defense played that well.
And it's worth noting, as you saw Alex Morgan get up and she was kind of hurting, I can guarantee you she doesn't have any turf burns or nicks like that. I mean, this Geldwin field, you're going to see nothing like you saw. Those of you that follow, Sydney LaRue, who tweeted a picture after her game last week in Boston of her legs all beat up and battered from the turf in Boston. This field is nothing like that. I've never seen a player come off the field with a turf burn.
Long wanted to turn the corner. Fishlock was there instead, and Edwards will restart. Kerr. Edwards again's near midfield. She'll backtrack. And Bueller and company will start anew. Near sideline. Marshall, very active. There's Long, avoiding the defense. Beautiful ball into Morgan. Inside the 18. We're going to wave that down.
That's a decent call. I mean, I think Long knows it. Long got the ball, and as soon as she looked up, Morgan had already started her run back in behind Zurr there, and just kind of had gotten behind her shoulder there, and as she played in the ball, you can see it right there on the replay.
Offsides. Yeah, that was tight though, wasn't it?
Very tight. I mean, you might have looked and seen, Dynas and Barnes maybe holding her on, but it's a tight call. But the linesman's right on top of. He was right on top of that line. So.
Hey, quick reminder, folks, treat yourself to Alaska's award-winning service as you fly to some of the most popular places on the West Coast, Alaska and Mexico to see and save or explore more. Spend less at alaskaair.com. Kerr winning that ball inside the penalty area. Far post! Just wide, and nobody there to help Sinclair, just a little late.
And Kerr, actually, to be fair, I think was probably looking to cross that ball and thought that Sinclair might have been a little bit more ahead than she was, and almost benefited from a knock-in from Dynas there. Boy,
Great call. Angela, on the replay, we've got the luxury of that. Dynas had to skip over that shot, or she may have own goaled it. 2-0. Portland wanting to add to it. Seattle with the intercept. They'll collect back to the defense and see if they can get something going. Fishlock turns. Sinclair almost with the pick. Deep ball, harmlessly sent forward, and Doherty will flag it down. '73rd minute. Portland with the 2-0 lead. Both of these teams coming off of draws in their season opener. Nice ball inside the 18. What a terrific finish. Just a terrific finish by Jessica Fishlock to get it past a diving LeBlanc, and Fishlock gestures to the crowd.
Fishlock definitely not winning any fans in Portland, but what a quality opportunity that was, and a great, very composed from the Welsh international. I mean, she's 26 years old. She's had 67 caps for her national team, and she's played all over England, in Australia, and that's a tremendous amount of composure.
Well, Portland's defense not able to clear, and Fishlock just wouldn't quit on it. Morgan, Betos, and Dynas all just colliding near the top of the 18 as Morgan was trying to get that goal right back. Well, this is a horse of a different color now. Boy, I'll tell you what, Larson just creams.
Coming in to challenge there.
Yeah.
And will get called for the foul, and then I just saw Ali Long come over and have a word with Cindy Cohn, and Cindy Cohn looked down at her substitutes bench and is probably going to make a few changes here.
Good call, partner. But to your point, that 2-0 lead really didn't mean anything to a Seattle club that knew it was getting close, and now we've got ourselves a ball game.
Sure, and again, Jessica Fishlock, boatloads of confidence on that kid.
Well, you're not kidding. Did you call that or what?
She's definitely gonna find her opportunities and take them, but just right in there, just that tackle.
Sinclair is able to keep it alive. Long on the near sideline. Marshall will try to carry. Seattle's defense will poke it away. And Fishlock is the kind of player, Angela, who thrives off of the away crowd.
Oh, absolutely. You can tell. I mean, she, has no problem scoring, and I would say if she scored another goal, she might run the end of the field and run in front of the north end, in front of the Riveters.
Yeah. Everybody's still on their feet at Geldwin, especially where the Riveters are hanging out behind Betos. Seattle a little bounce in its step. Only down 2-1 now in the 76th minute. Dynas, who seems to be playing just about everywhere in that defensive third for Seattle. We've called her name over and over again. Winters knocks it out. You see Bueller, center of the field, clapping, saying, "Let's go, let's put the heat on." And here comes the first sub of the game for Portland, Danielle Foxhoven, who was so big in her substitute role last week as Kerr takes a seat.
Absolutely, you saw her coming in last week, drawing the penalty that helped Portland tie the game, and pilot for pilot, Foxhoven comes in and is going to look to inject a little bit of energy here, which she absolutely can do. Very dangerous runs. Very dangerous runs through the penalty area.
Foxhoven has a nose for it, doesn't she?
She'll definitely be getting involved here in the next 15 minutes.
Nairn will leave it on this near side for Reed. Nice ball inside the 18. Trying to turn the corner is Kyle. Foul will go against the Thorns defense, and Seattle will try for the quick restart. Nairn over the ball. Portland's defense getting set up. LeBlanc, you can hear her shouting instructions.
She's lining up her wall, and she's making sure they get it right down there. Taking no chances.
Far post ball. Headed away. Right back to Nairn. Fishlock leaves it. Nairn. Dangerous ball. Bodies flying.
That's Bueller on the clearance there for Portland. Sinclair on the first clearance, and then Bueller.
Long on the counter. Gets tripped up by Fishlock. Crowd will let the
Look up his
Whales.
pocket for this one.
Yep, let her
Same
have
thing.
it. There's the yellow. Fishlock goes and taps Long on the back of the head as Allie was belly up on the turf.
That's deserved.
This game has given us a little bit of everything, isn't it? Hard sliding tackle, easy call to make.
Absolutely, and again, you see Fishlock on the replay. She knows it. She knows she deserved the crowd, and then she went and gave a couple claps to the Riveters.
This crowd is just letting Jessica Fishlock have it.
She antagonizes them, and she's a fun player to watch, and I'm sure for every person here, it's great to kind of jeer her when things like that go wrong, because they know, you like players that interact with the crowd like that. It really is enjoyable.
You bet.
Makes the games more enjoyable to watch.
Deep ball. Headed away. Let's see who can outrace whom for that ball, and it'll be a throw-in for the Thorns. Headed away by the Seattle defense.
Great pressure there from Foxhoven, just pushing Larson to the point where Larson couldn't win that ball comfortably and tried to play it up and ends up walking it out of bounds.
79th minute, 2-1 Thorns. A goal by Fishlock cuts the lead in half. Seattle feeling like they've got the equalizer coming. Portland, on the other hand, keeping the ball in their offensive third to put maybe the goal that puts this thing to bed in the back of the net. Marshall heading it. Sinclair with the same. Sinclair is able to settle. Couldn't get it to Foxhoven, but there's Long, who's been everywhere. Nicely done. Turns the corner. Looks for somebody to pass it to. Maybe they'll switch fields. Foxhoven gets rid of it. Morgan, 1v1. Far post pass. Washington. Nice defense there. Barnes. And here comes Seattle.
We're
on
in
the
for
far
a
side.
great last 10 minutes here. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Nice cut back there. Seattle looking for the equalizer. Switching fields nicely.
What a touch from Nairn.
Nairn.
Jeez.
Nice ball inside the penalty area. Good defense by the Portland Thorns. Look out. Here comes Reed. Leaves it. And cleared by Sinclair. Dangerous play there.
This is such a great game. I mean, it's 2-1. It's exactly the kind of atmosphere and exactly the kind of, the last 10 minutes is going to be very exciting. And it's just as we get in the official attendance number, I know everybody wants the attendance, but we can't get it out to you guys until they give it to us. It's 16,479 people here in attendance at Jeld-Wen Field. It is obviously going to be an NWSL record. Maybe I shouldn't say obviously, but
no,
it's the highest capacity field in the league. So, and then it is worth noting that this is higher than any attendance figure in single game attendance figure for the WPS as well.
16,479. Angela, the last week you were telling me, just wait, there's going to be 17,000 people, and you were right. What a testimony to the Portland metro area and the soccer fans that come near and far, Angela. It doesn't matter if it's men's or women's, they love their soccer.
As we see Long get a clap from the crowd. Long comes off the field, and it's Courtney Wetzel, the Oregon State kid. I shouldn't call her a kid.
It's all right.
She's the Oregon State Beaver. Another player, local player. She's from Issaquah, I believe. Or Puyallup, excuse me. She's from Puyallup and has actually been playing professionally over in Ottawa. But
how good was Allie Long today?
Tremendous. And a couple nervy fouls early, drew the yellow card, had to settle it down. Otherwise, she could have drawn a second yellow and been ejected from the game. So she did a very good job of getting her composure back and then focusing on what her job was, which was, to defend on the low side of the ball against the likes of Noyola, Bogus, Nairn, and then, really have to contribute and find those opportunities for Morgan, Kerr, Sinclair to get the ball at their feet.
So we're in the 82nd minute. Seattle with the ball, but trailing Portland 2-1. Nice job of switching fields, but there's the Portland Thorns defense. Washington and company taking control. Wetzel trying to find Morgan. Look at the foot speed of Alex Morgan. Unbelievable. Knocks the defender off the ball.
Ellie Reed goes down there.
Wow, you saw the foot speed of Alex Morgan there as
Tremendous.
Reed had every angle in the world and
Reed's not slow.
No.
I mean, let's make that perfectly clear. Reed is not a slow player, and
man, if you're Reed, your eyes get as big as hubcaps watching Morgan come. That fast.
Luckily she was behind her, so she didn't know.
Ha! Wetzel. Morgan, very nimble, finds Sinclair. I'm not sure if that ball was meant for Foxhoven. Now it for sure is meant for Wetzel on this side, near side of the field. Leave it for Foxhoven. She's got a good foot, and it's a dangerous foot. Stolen nicely there by Winters. I sure like the play of Keelan Winters. Going up top is Seattle, trying to get something going with Nairn in the offensive third. Leaving it.
I think there's a lot to be said for what Keelan Winters brings to this team. Obviously, she's a captain, and that says a lot when you have the amount of veteran players on this Seattle team, and when you put the on-field leadership in the hands of a 24-year-old kid. I mean, she literally is a kid to some of these people out here, and she has done a tremendous job, and she's a tremendously talented soccer player, and I think is going to be a bright spot for the Seattle Reign team in seasons to come.
Seattle trying to collect and get things organized to get something going in the 84th minute here. Near side, long pass to Fishlock. All 5-2 of her. Ooh, that's a dangerous ball that just floats through about 5 different players, and Doherty says, I've seen enough. I'm knocking that thing out of bounds.
And here's where we'll see Seattle's last substitution. You get 3 substitutions in your games, and it's going to be Jenny Ruiz-Williams who's going to be coming on for number 3, Lauren Barnes. And just a little bit more of an attacking option. Barnes has done a great job throughout the game, and Ruiz-Williams might add just a little bit more going forward.
Fans, when you need to recharge and refresh, just head to your local Northwest McDonald's. Get any size ice-cold soft drink or any size rich premium roast coffee for just $1. It's more value to love. All right, throw in Seattle. 85th minute. Angela, your days in pro soccer, your days as an All-America with Portland, if you're leading 2-1 in the final stages of the game, if you're Portland, what are you trying to do?
Kill the game off.
Well,
I mean, you're still attacking.
Okay.
You're still going forward, but it's not as risky. You're not going to take as many chances, and you want to slow the game down as much as possible. The ball goes out of bounds. You're not going to sit there and jump over the baseboards to get it. You let the ball kid get it, and you'll get it back in play in a reasonable amount of time. But you're really looking to slow the pace down and kill any kind of rhythm that Seattle might want to try to develop.
To your point, that ball knocked out of bounds by Seattle, and look at Washington, just kind of.
She'll give it to Doherty.
Knocked it out of bounds.
But this is where they have to be careful, because right now you see the referee, he just blew the whistle, and he raised both hands in the air, and he's like, come on, guys.
Yep.
I know. I'm not an idiot.
86th minute. 2-1 Portland leading Seattle in a match that was highly anticipated and has not disappointed. Look out for Morgan. And there is Fishlock again, and she will push and she will carry to the near sideline. Seattle needs to get something going. Reed will drop it back to the Seattle defense, who will switch fields to the far side. Doherty will mark. Nice ball inside to Nairn. Headed away by the Thorns defense. 87th minute. Portland nursing the 2-1 lead. Doherty will try to flag it down on that far sideline and just let it roll out of bounds. To Angela's point, take your time. Clock's on your side, Thorns.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to take any risks and risk restarting the play quickly and giving the ball away quickly, especially when it's in your defensive third. You want to make sure everybody has time to set up, get their marks, and
dangerous ball. LeBlanc was talking to Nikki Marshall there, said, let me have it. Yeah, just to remind you, though, Angela, when Doherty scored that goal, it was late in the first half. Mm-hmm. Portland understands you got to run through the tape.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and that's where, again, composure matters. Taking care of the little details matters. And, like I said, they're not going to take chances. You have to make sure you keep everything right in the back and you stay organized. And you're going to keep Doherty. You're going to keep Marshall home. You're going to make sure that they don't need to be making those runs forward. They just need to make sure they sit behind the ball and they're organized for whenever Seattle wins the ball and comes forward again.
Marshall clears it. Headed opportunity there by Morgan goes by the wayside, but still Seattle's got to back things up with Dynas and company. trying to get things started in the 88th minute. Dribbling, 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 but east-west. Now on the near sideline, Seattle looks to go deep. Instead, it'll be Reed looking to carry, leaves it for Fishlock. Good defense by the Portland Thorns.
And here in Seattle, you see Ellie Reed getting forward. Ellie Reed's, she's all the way up in the other penalty area, and Seattle's going to try and throw numbers forward. They want a point out of this. They want to make a statement on the road just as bad as anybody else in the league does.
Washington gets past Winters' far sideline. Looks to go up top to Morgan, and it just dribbles down the sideline. Still in play, though. Dynas.
And that's a decent effort from Washington. I mean, Doherty isn't going to be coming up from the outside, and Edwards was kind of holding in the middle, as was Sinclair. And really her only option was to dump it into Morgan in the corner and maybe hope that she'll get something out of it. And as it was a goal kick. And
Angela, they just announced the attendance, and the place went nuts. So tip your caps to the fans here at Geldwin, setting a new league record by a whole bunch. Morgan with the steal, in no hurry, but she'll leave it for Sinclair. No numbers. Near side, Wetzel. Let's see what she can do with it. Cuts it back. Sinclair. Foxhoven brings it back. Do you like this play?
Yeah, I mean, it's because you're forcing Seattle to chase, and when Seattle's chasing the game, when they have players chasing the game, I mean, you're in the 88th minute. They're still going to be tired. I mean, the only fresh players are maybe the ones who just got subbed in, but
Washington is knocked down and no call, as I think Dahlstream got her. But that's good composure by the Portland Thorns, not in any hurry here in the 90th minute of this match and leading 2-1. Edwards, as Sinclair wins it. Washington on the right side. Harmless ball, but it takes time off the clock as Beto says, go, I'm going to boot it. Reed. Ball kept in play. Wetzel trying for the steal. Instead, it's Zur. Lets it through. Fishlock. Nicely played. Washington with the steal. There's Nairn stepping in front. And look out! Larson on the far side. Here comes Seattle. They'll reload. You can just feel a little nervous energy here at Geldwin as Winters is stolen. Great play by Alex Morgan, and the crowd appreciates that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official of the sideline has indicated there will be a minimum of 2 minutes of added time in the second half.
2 minutes of added time. So Portland is not finished yet. Don't count the victory yet. 2-1. Thorns with the lead. Seattle in a desperate situation to tie this thing. Carrying nicely. Able to turn the corner. Seattle centering pass.
That's Larson.
Larson is going to leave it for Nairn. Dangerous up top.
And man, Nairn does not miss from there too often.
Wow. Seattle is really aggressively trying to equalize, and Nairn had a left foot shot.
And, not a lot of pressure. Nairn's right there. I think Foxhoven was the closest person to her, and she wasn't able to.
We're about 50 seconds into the 2-minute stoppage time as LeBlanc tees it up. Morgan pressured, stolen, Fishlock. Seattle will organize and try to get something going again. Morgan with the near steal. Switching fields is Seattle. About a minute to go in stoppage time for Portland to collect its first win of the year. Ellie Reed inside the 18. Winters as Portland tries to clear. There's Sinclair. Fishlock near midfield. She's going to send it. Deep ball, dangerous ball.
Fishlock put it on the head of Kaylin Kyle, but well defended there from Portland's back line of Williamson and Bueller. Really well organized. Dalmy was going to drop off right in behind and easily shepherded that ball out over the end line.
That might have been Seattle's last chance as LeBlanc takes her time. The crowd is standing. You can hear the cheers.
Referee is going to blow full time right now.
You can tell by the roar of the crowd that Portland has secured the 2-1 win over Seattle for its first victory in the NWSL. Hard-fought win for the Portland Thorns. They went up 1-0 at halftime, and then 2-0 on Morgan's goal. Seattle comes fighting back, and it went down to the wire, Angela.
Absolutely did, and you can see, I mean, Fishlock out on the field just drained, and it's been a tremendous 90 minutes here in Portland. What an atmosphere, what an environment, and you know, Seattle's going to not enjoy the 3-hour bus ride back up to Seattle, but you know, having played in an atmosphere like this, I mean, this really is a special day for a lot of these players, and now for the Seattle team, it's, you know, they're battle tested. I mean, it was a lot different than last week, and they're gonna take this into their next match, and definitely having learned some lessons.
Seattle playing without Hope Solo, Rodriguez, Rapinoe, and gave Portland all the Thorns could handle, but in the end, it was the Portland Thorns taking the 2-1 win over Seattle for its first outright NWSL victory. A huge win for Portland and the near 17,000 fans here at Geldwin to celebrate the moment. We'll be back with more Portland Thorns action in just a moment.
Once again, any fans with vouchers for today's
Moment We just witnessed, Angela Harrison, the Portland Thorns, the victorious Portland Thorns, after having defeated Seattle 2-1, saluting the crowd and then really pausing in front of the Riveters, and it was a love fest, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, you knew this day was going to start out special when the teams came onto the field for the national anthem, and the Thorns' own Jasmine Avant sings just a knockout national anthem, complete with the bombs bursting in air and rockets' red glare, and the tifo from the Riveters that they've now given to the players, the welcome banners that they made for each one of the players, and the players down there now for the post-game ceremony, and they all got a dozen roses from the Riveters, and it's just what a great cap to a great day of soccer in Portland.
Nearly 17,000 here on hand at Geldwin, easily the mark to beat around this league in terms of attendance. The word was out. Portland was going to come and support this club, and how, Angela?
Well, absolutely, and the bar's been set, and I don't know that we'll see a lot of 16,000 fan games. I mean, I'm certainly we'll see 10,000 fan games and things like that. But the thing that the people have to remember and keep in perspective is that Portland plays in a Major League Soccer stadium, and they're in a primary soccer town, and so there's no baseball to support. There's none of this. And so they have over 7,000 season tickets sold, which is more than a lot of the other NWSL stadiums can hold. So it's not, Portland is not by any means looking down, but it's saying, if you guys have the support, this is what you can accomplish. And we in Portland absolutely will go to every other stadium and be, thankful and grateful to play in those facilities as well and try to draw as many fans as they can there. This
Thorns club, with all due respect to last week's effort in Kansas City, a completely different bunch.
Absolutely. It's amazing what a nice settling week of training can do. Everybody's home, sleeping in their own beds, and the pregame jitters were there, and the jitters through the first 20-25 minutes of the half was there. We started to see them settle down a little bit more as the half went on. Things got better around the 35-minute mark in terms of possession and how they attacked and went forward. And then, the free kick goal, Doherty gets that skim off her head, redirects the ball into the net, which is what you want off a free kick. But I mean, that was just an absolutely brilliant free kick from Washington. Just a beauty of a free kick from Washington, and that kind of pace just means that you just need to get a piece of it to put it into the net. And then from there, Portland went into the locker room. Minutes later, was able to sit down, take a breath, and was like, okay, yeah, we got this. This is good. And then they came out and just a completely different attacking mindset in the second half. Morgan dropped a little bit deeper, and you saw Washington shifting up or Long shifting up and Kerr staying up high, and it was just kind of Morgan and Sinclair in the midfield to get more of the ball because that's where the Thorns are going to be successful. Everybody knows from the allocation, Portland was dealt, they, by popular opinion says Portland was dealt the best hand out of any of the allocated teams, and so you want those players then to be around the ball more.
Well, game, set, match in that department. Seattle gamely comes back to make it a tough match, but at the end of the day, give this one to the Portland Thorns. 2-1 the final here at Geldwin in front of nearly 17,000 Portland Thorns fans. Our post-game show continues. Don't go away. We will be right back. Thorns FC post-game show. Live coverage of Thorns FC is presented by McDonald's and Shots, along with Angela Harrison. And a game defensively you had to like if you're a Portland Thorns fan, and then offense just enough for LeBlanc.
You know, I don't think LeBlanc has a lot to be disappointed in. I mean, obviously, any goalkeeper you want the shutout.
You ought to know. You ought to know.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, when you have a player, you know, like Fishlock that has the ability to change the game like she does, and that she is absolutely going to be, you know, Seattle's, you know, litmus throughout the season. As she goes, Seattle will go.
Agree.
I mean, Keelan Winters is gonna do a great job for Seattle, but Fishlock really is gonna kind of be the lightning bolt that the Reign need, and she can absolutely change a game. And here you are, you're away from home, you're down. You know, you're down 2 goals. It's a rivalry, or so you've been told, and you're looking for something to change the game, and it was kind of going, and then Fishlock decided, yeah, I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna change the game, and she did, and that was a great shot that beat LeBlanc. LeBlanc can't be too upset with that, and you know, you move on and look to get better each week.
Allie Long and Kerr really doing a nice job in the midfield. Marshall and Doherty, that back line awfully tough, along with Bueller. And then you get Sinclair's wisdom and her awareness and using all the field, and Morgan able to close.
Yeah, it is. It's about having, you know, your closers and the people that do have confidence on the ball. You know, I talked about Fishlock for Seattle. I mean, Morgan's going to have confidence on the ball. She just needs to see more of it, as she did in the second half, and she needs to have players. Not that she needs somebody to make it easy for her, but it's 10 times easier to make sure.
That was fun, wasn't it?
That you have. Sorry, it's 10 times easier to do your job when you have Sinclair make it easy with a pass like that to get
as
her,
soon as
her
I
goal.
landed here.
So a terrific opportunity for the Thorns to experience all of Geldwin in its glory, and head coach Cindy Parlow-Cohn is now addressing the media about what a great match it was for her Thorns.
It's hard for a team to play against 12 people. We didn't even talk about it. You know, all we talked about was getting better. I think none of us were happy with the way we performed at Kansas City, and we went to work this week and corrected the things that we needed to correct, making sure we were all on the same page. And it was our first week of training with all of our teammates. So it was good to get that week of training in, and I think it helped, and it showed tonight. I think we changed a lot. I don't think the way that we played in Kansas City was the way that we want to play. I think we were all over the field, and just because we hadn't played together, we put in 4 new people that we haven't had most of the preseason, and I think it was difficult to adjust to that. But we had this week of training, like I said, and I think we were able to get to know each other a little bit better, and I think our rhythm was better. I think our defensive organization and choosing when to press and when to drop in was much better than it was in Kansas City. This was awesome. I was walking around the field with Rachel Bueller, and we looked at each other, and she's like, "This is like the World Cup." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, that's what it felt like. It felt like that atmosphere that we had at the World Cup and at the Olympics. It was unbelievable atmosphere."
Was it difficult to keep the team focused, knowing that there was a lot of anticipation for this kind of atmosphere? Everybody was very excited.
No, I think you guys saw tonight that they were very focused. They were very tuned in, dialed in. I mean, as soon as we got back from Kansas City, we got together, we talked about the video, what we needed to correct, and that wasn't what we wanted to look like on the field. And I give all the credit to the girls. They really worked their tails off this week and really put time in to get to know each other a little bit better and to help us get organized.
Since Morgan had been on the same club team before, what are you seeing as far as the understanding they have with each other? They combine on both sides of goal.
Right. I mean, obviously, those 2 players are world-class, understatement of the year right there. I mean, they are just unbelievable players individually, and then you put them together, and they just work together. I mean, they know where each other wants the ball, how they want the ball, and in what areas they want it. So it was fun to watch them combine tonight.
How is this sort of gel together at this point, and how much more work still needs to be done heading on to the season?
Right. I think the chemistry both on and off the field with this team is outstanding. Are we where we want to be in August? No. We'll get there. We'll continue to get better. And we made some mistakes tonight. We'll look at those and we'll continue to get better from week to week.
What are some of the things you do like you need to get better at?
I think we turned the ball over too easily at times. We got a little bit impatient in the attacking third. I think we created a good rhythm, but then at times we panicked a little bit and just gave the ball away a little too easily.
Coach, you seem to have Christine playing deeper this week. It almost seemed like you switched where her and Angie played most of the time. What was the intent behind that? And can you speak overall as to Christine's performance?
I mean, Christine's, as everyone knows her as an amazing goal scorer, but what people don't really pay attention to is that she's one of the best passers of the ball in the game. And I wanted her on the ball more for that reason, so we dropped her more into the midfield so we could get her the ball more. And you saw it tonight with her feed into Alex.
That's Portland Thorns head coach Cindy Parlow-Cone. Exchanging with Rachel Bueller, this feels like the World Cup. Yep, with 17,000 folks here at Jeld-Wen, I'll bet it did. And the Thorns did not disappoint, defeating the Seattle Reign in a hard-fought match, 2-1 the final. Our post-game show and shots along with Angela Harrison will continue in just a second.
Portland Timbers fans bring...
Welcome back to the Thorns postgame show. Live coverage of Thorns FC is presented by McDonald's. And Angela, quick reminder that the Portland Timbers have a road game tonight at 8 o'clock sharp in San Jose. You can find the live radio broadcast on our sister station, Sports Radio 750 The Game. Pre-game coverage begins at 7 o'clock, and the game will also be televised on Root Sports. All right, we collect our breaths and get settled and realize that this home field magic will go away for a little bit because now the Thorns embark on a tough three-game road trip.
Absolutely, and I was talking with Tiffany Milbert after she left our interview, but I just was chatting with her in the break, and we talked about just this team does need time to gel, as does every other NWSL team. I think there's a lot of great expectations given the amount of backing. We talked about we heard Cindy Cone in your interview with her pregame. The fact that all three federations, North American federations, are buying into this and investing a substantial amount of money into their players, into this. There has to be you have to understand that it is gonna take some time. It's not, these teams aren't gonna come out here and you aren't gonna see Morgan and Sinclair scoring 6 goals. As much as I'd love to see it, and as much as the 16,000, 17,000 fans that were here today would love to have seen 4 goals from both players. It's gonna take time for things to gel, and Portland's gonna work things out, and teams gather confidence. This was a huge boost of confidence for the Portland team, and as you said, now they have to carry that through on the road. For the Seattle team, they lost 2-1, but to play as well as they did in this atmosphere and do some of the very good things that they did, for them, that's a boost of confidence too, because they didn't go out of here, they didn't lose 5-0, they didn't get slammed out of the game. They lost their composure for a good bit of the second half, and then Fishlock and Winters were able to get it back for them with a good bit of play. So it's just the little things that will carry through for the rest of the season for them.
So the so-called experts, and you know it, Angela, we've been talking about this, have picked Portland from the very beginning, especially with that strong allocation of players. Cone is smart enough to say to her players, listen, here's what this means. We're going to get everybody else's best shot.
Sure.
So this is when, as true professionals, you stand up to that kind of expectation.
Well, and that's where, when you look at the U.S. players that are on this team, and you look at where these players played in college, and Sinclair and Foxhoven and those guys at Portland, and a lot of the kids that played at UNC, and a lot of the other players that played at top schools in the conference, Florida State, Florida, Colorado, Stanford. I mean, this roster is just littered with people who have experience being in that position where they are going to be on that team with the target on their backs. And, you have to be able to deal with that. I mean, there's a lot of pressure, but you have to be able to collect it, compartmentalize it, and deal with it, and go out and do your job, because, ultimately, especially for those players who have been allocated, but, the investment that a lot of these owners are making, this is your job. And that's where I think a lot of fans want to see this league go, and they want to see that parity and that similarity with MLS. But the fact of the matter is the money's not there for the investment. So if you want to make it your job, you have to take it seriously, like it's your job, and we can get more sponsors, and we can get more money, and pay these kids a little bit more money for what they're doing, because they're certainly doing a tremendous job, and they're representing the towns that they play in with great success.
What kind of buzz do you think today's match is going to create in the Rose City with 17,000 folks and a Thorns victory to boot?
Well, I don't know about the buzz in the Rose City, because it's for here it's what people do. We had Tiffany Milbert on. I've had tweets, people going, why didn't you have Merritt Paulson on, and why didn't you have Mia on? It's like, Tiffany Milbert was the first domino to fall that set this in motion. Of course you're going to have Tiffany Milbert on this broadcast, and we'll get those other people in later. But I think the buzz is going to be more felt around the league. I think it's going to be, in the Kansas City, in Chicago, up, in New York, across Boston, is like, this is great, because now you look at other supporters, and that's what, not that there wasn't a great supporters culture in MLS before the Timbers and the Sounders and the Whitecaps and those guys came in, but that rivalry and the level of intense support and passion for the game and for their team that those supporters showed, that was a great demonstration, and it made it okay for a lot of people in other cities to go, what, I do like soccer, it's cool, and I want to go watch these games and support. And I think it's going to do the same thing across the league, where you can say, we do have a supporters group, we're going to go and we're going to chant these women on, and make sure that they have cool traditions and ceremony. At the end of the game, as I said, the players got roses, but for the Timbers, they saw the log slice for the goal scorers, and for the Thorns, they'll give them a thorn for every a rose for every goal scored at the end of the game. That happened, and so that's that kind of organic growing of the game needs to happen. It can't be forced, and it can't be something that you try to shoehorn in. It has to be organic and natural, and I think you're going to see that pop up in a lot of other cities now.
And what was really cool to see, and these fans are smart enough to witness, is what an adjustment the Thorns made at halftime. Yes, they were up 1-0, but they dominated that second half until that late Seattle goal.
Yeah.
The adjustment that Cone and her staff were able to make, it seemed to be a different pressing, numbers forward kind of a Portland Thorns club in that second half.
Yeah, they came out, they were organized, they were recharged, and they were attacking. It is something to be said about this stadium. They were attacking the supporters group. They have that, and there's the crowd behind the opposing goalkeeper just jeering and loud, and that's so difficult to organize and be loud and control your defense. And as a player, when you're attacking your fans and you've got 5,000 fans that you're running at and you're going to go score a goal for, I mean, man, the kind of energy that creates and the kind of confidence that creates as players is just unheralded, and it makes it so easy to do your job, as I'm sure you'll hear a lot of these kids, I got to stop calling them kids.
It's okay.
A lot of these players will say in their interviews from here on out.
What a moment. What an afternoon. Thorns defeating the Reign 2-1 here at Jeld-Wen in front of nearly 17,000 crazy Thorns fans. Our post-game show will be back in just a minute. Don't go away.
Around here, we take refreshment pretty seriously. How else do you explain the coffee cart in front of the coffee shop next to the other coffee shop?